check one.
Hello, check mic. Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness, so great to see all your shining faces so bright and early. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the first stop of the 2022 Zero Diamond Tour in beautiful Denver, Colorado. So guys, we have such an exciting lineup for you here today. And just so you know, we had a phenomenal year last year. We were in Miami, we were in Dallas, Charleston, Connecticut, you name it, Salt Lake City, we were there. We learned a lot. A lot of us took so many great takeaways. So we hope you guys learn a lot here today. So in fact, it's all about having an open mindset, right? So I want everyone to stand up right now. Stand up. All right. So in life, no matter how long we've been in the business, no matter how long we've been around, we feel that sometimes we may know everything, but life is about having an open mind, having an open mindset, and having a yes mindset. So I want everyone to stand like balanced, okay? And I need you to say no, out loud, no, 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 no. Oh, now say yes, 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 yes. Did anyone feel the body, where did you feel your body shift when you said no? Backwards. And when you said yes, forward. So it's all about moving forward. It's all about having a yes mentality. Round of applause. You guys may be seated. Awesome. I'm so excited. So I haven't even introduced myself. My name's Alexa Caballo Hughes. I've been listing and selling for 10 years now. I've had a great career. I've done a lot. I've helped a lot of people. I'm a DOB, daughter of a broker for several years. Realtor Magazine's 30 Under 30, all this fun stuff, right? But what I'm so proud of is working alongside Ricky at Zero to Diamond as a coach. And it is truly the gift of paying it forward. So we hope you learned something here great today and you're able to pay it forward to others. That being said, before we get started, I just need to thank a few of our amazing sponsors that made it happen. First, thank you so much, Becca String, a First Integrity title. Thank you so much for the breakfast. It's amazing. And then we must thank our crew at Partnership RE who's working the front desk there, checking you guys in, getting everyone all settled. So thank you guys so much. Round of applause. Next, we want to thank Karen Hyman, 2 to 10 Home Bee Warranty. The green team at Cross Country Mortgage. Woohoo! All right. One more fun activity before we get started. So, who has been in the business for the least amount of time in the room? Who do you think? Stand up if it's you. Ryan, how long have you been in the business? 5 weeks. Do we have anyone less than 5 weeks? No one? Ryan, you get a book of list to last. All right. Who has been in the business the longest amount of time? Stand up. Joe, how many years? 33 years. Keith, how about you? 22? Oh, sorry, Keith. All right, does anyone beat 33 years? Going once, going twice. Woo! Come on up, you get a book. All right, this is so much fun. What's your name? Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. I love it. Keep it up. 34 years? 34? Oh, my goodness. I'm 32. Jeez. Okay, last but not least, who has traveled the farthest to get to this event? Stand up if you think it's you. I'm like, where? Oh, okay, okay. Well, some of us took a plane, am I right? We're not a plane, but an hour and a half. Pueblo. We have another Pueblo in the house, too. Welcome, you guys. So, did anyone here take a plane? Michigan. California, Connecticut, North Carolina. All right, it's a tough call. Who traveled the furthest? North Carolina, come on up here, get a book. Thank you. What's your name? Angie, welcome. All right, guys. So without further ado, oh my God, I'm right on time. See that, guys? We have a timer right on time. I'm going to be introducing our speaker, our first presenter, Juan Carlos Barreneche. That's how I say his name, you know? He's awesome. So he is the founder of the Gold Bar brand, which originated in New York City. In 2021, his team sold over 120 homes and ranked #1 in volume at eXp Realty New York. At just 20 years old, he is one of the most successful leaders in the industry, having recruited more than 1,200 agents to his brokerage, and actually was named the 2021 Instructor of the Year. Dang. With more than 150+ million in sales, in just 5 years in the business, Juan Carlos is proof that through combining relentless work ethic, I can attest to that, and technology, you can achieve your goals faster. Give it up to Juan Carlos. Oh.
Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so I apologize for two things. Number one, I'm going to speak very fast. And number two, I have 99 slides to get through. I've done this presentation several times, and all the feedback I've gotten is that you get a ton of feedback on how to scale from 0 to 7 figures. So if everyone here has a goal to get to 6 figures, take out a pen and paper, take notes. It's going to be really good. If your goal is to make $1 million a year, start recording this thing because it's going to be really good, okay? So I'm going to be going very fast, but it's only for the sense of I want to bring as much value to everyone as fast as possible. And how long do I have? 30 minutes? Okay, let's get started. So we're going to be talking about how to scale your real estate business from 0 to 7 figures, even if you have no idea how to get started. My name is Juan Carlos Barreneche. I'm born in New York City. I recently moved to Orlando, Florida. A little about me. I've been in the business since May of 2016. In 2021, I won the eXp University Instructor of the Year. Last year in 2021, my team sold over 120 homes in the New York and Florida markets. And I have a passion for helping others, traveling, and building businesses. So what you're going to discover on this training is secret number 1, the law of millionaire agents. Secret number 2, the real estate sales formula and how to use it. Secret number 3, the 1% rule and why it matters. And secret number 4, the scaling formula and how to get to 7 figures. So, is everyone here a real estate agent working with people looking to buy or sell real estate? Are you tired of having that feeling of uncertainty, wondering where your next deal is going to come from? Do you want to learn how the top agents in the country are generating qualified clients every single week? In this training, I'm going to show you how my team redefined generating leads and how I used it to scale to more than 7 figures in annual gross commissions. And the best part is, I automated my entire business and work less than 5 hours per week. So, I know that might sound insane or even unrealistic, but the way I achieved it is actually pretty simple. I'll tell you more about that in a second, but first, let me tell you why I made this training, who I am, and how I created a system to scale from 0 to 7 figures. So the reason I made this training is because the way I designed my real estate business has drastically changed my life and my income. And I know it could do the same exact thing for you. So in a few moments, I'm going to share this system with you. And once you see it, you have 2 options. You could A, do nothing, which I hope no one in this auditorium does. Or B, you could apply the principles from this training and use them to change your business forever. So who am I? As mentioned, my name is Juan Carlos, and simply put, I'll help real estate agents get more clients and scale their business. These are some of the publications that I've been featured on, and essentially my whole claim to fame is that I've been able to scale my company from 0 to 1,000 agents in over about 3 years, and in the same time period, I've sold almost $150 million worth of real estate. Now, the entire time that I've been building this entire company, I've also been working on my brand, and on social media, I have more than 300,000 followers. If you want to go and follow my pages, my entire brand is called Gold Bar. It's all about helping others build wealth. And then my personal page, Juan Gold Bar, is where I go out there to give value to as many agents as possible. So if you look at the back end of my social media analytics, it took us 4 years to build this, but we generate more than 1 million impressions a week. And this is a great way to go out there, build a relationship. So if you're not on social media or Instagram, I highly recommend it. What's the future hold for me? Number 1, I want to hit $1 billion in real estate sales, which I'm confident I'll do over the next 3 or 4 years. I want to grow to 10,000 agents worldwide, which I'm confident I'll do over the next 5. And last but not least, I want to help as many agents in the process do what I've learned. Because at the end of the day, making money is great, but if we're not helping people in the process, then what's it all for? So what is my secret? Can anyone give me a random guess of what they think my secret is? Consistency. One more. You talk to a lot of people. That's a good one. Okay. So it's leverage, okay? And I want you to write this down because I'm going to be bringing it up multiple times. Leverage is extremely important if you want to go out there and scale quickly. If you want to scale slowly, there's nothing wrong with going out there and doing this yourself. But if you want to go out there and scale as fast as possible, you need leverage. Right here's a little screenshot of my back-end team. I have more than 7 virtual assistants working for me at any single time, and I've divided my entire business for a specific part of every single role. But before I go into that, let's take it back to day one for me was at a company called Keller Williams. This is the actual Facebook post where I took a screenshot showing my mom, hey mom, I'm officially a realtor. It's April 2016. And as you can see right there, I started out in Bayside, Queens. When I got my license, I was just graduating college, and I was told that the best way to grow a successful business was to focus on working with sellers. I'm sure everyone's heard that here. The only issue was that my personal circle was full of young college students who were just graduated, and none of them owned homes, not to mention they had a lot of student loan debts. So in my first year in real estate, I worked more than 80 hours a week just to make less than $6,000 in the entire year. One day I came across an agent who had just won the award for #1 agent in the sales volume in the entire office, and the next time I saw him, I pulled him aside and asked him what his secret was. What he told me next, I would never forget. Juan, there is no secret. Monday through Friday, I circle prospect the same zip code, 3 hours a day, asking homeowners if they want to sell. Eventually, you will find someone that says yes. Selling real estate is a numbers game, and that really struck me. It completely shifted my paradigm, and I realized that in order to build a successful business, I needed to build a business focused on prospecting as many potential sellers as possible. So what you just said right there is exactly right. You want to speak to more people. So secret number 1, the law of millionaire agents. There are 4 secrets. These are not secrets that I made up. They're secrets that I've developed through interviewing dozens of millionaire agents in this business, and this is the one that I believe is probably one of the most important. Who here knows anything behind the law of thermodynamics? Anyone here a science nerd like me? Am I the only one in the room with a biology degree? Okay, so anyhow, in science, there's this entire law, right, controls the universe, that the energy that you put into the system is going to equate to the energy that you put out. Well, in real estate, there's a law of millionaire agents, and I came up with this, and I realized that the more you prospect, the more follow-ups it's going to lead to. You go out there and you call 10, 15, 20 sellers a day, and all of them say no. By the 30th or 40th one of them is going to say, yeah, call me back in 6 months. So the more you prospect, the more follow-ups you're going to get. Once you start following up, essentially, you're going to start meeting people that are ready to buy or sell. This is going to lead to more consultations. The more consultations you do, well, even if you're the worst listing presenter on the planet, I could guarantee you get 1 out of 100 of these listings, it's going to lead to more listings. So essentially, the law of millionaire agents states, if you go out there and you prospect more, you will get more listings. Who here is prospecting at least an hour a day? 2 hours a day? 3 hours a day? 4 hours a day? That's the difference, okay? So my second year in the business, I decided I would get serious about prospecting sellers on the phone every single day. The end result was me going from $6,000 in gross commissions year 1 to over $250,000 in year 2 just in GCI. This is proof of the award. In 2017, KW gave me a little award called the Double Gold Award, and it was given to agents that did anywhere between $240,000 to $300,000 in GCI. So by my 3rd year, I had so many buyer leads coming in for my listings that I decided to start hiring buyer agents to help me out with the additional clients. It made sense. It's the next step. And I ran into one major issue. That issue was that I never realized that hiring other agents would force me to inherit other responsibilities that I did not want, including going out there and training and supporting the agents, marketing and branding for the agents, and building out an infrastructure to support their transaction management. So when you hire salespeople without an admin in place, well, you become the admin. So if anyone here feels very overwhelmed and they feel, oh, the next step is to go out there and give my buyer leads to a buyer agent, do not do it. It's a trap. I've been there. I've done it. It's the worst thing you could do. Hire an assistant first. And if everyone wants to know when you should hire an assistant, as soon as you could afford a 6-month salary, okay? This ended up reducing the amount of time I could focus on prospecting sellers, and it led to me getting less listings. And if I didn't have enough listings, well, it meant I wouldn't be able to support my team. And if I didn't take action and build an infrastructure to support them, everything would come crashing down and they would leave me. So I decided to take action. And it took me an entire 6 months of struggling to get the hang of things, but once I created the right system, I 10 closings every single month, and I still do. Last year, we averaged about 8 per month. So what caused this shift in my business? It was leverage. I'm saying it again, okay? Is everyone paying attention to what I'm saying? Cool. Originally, when I began selling real estate, I was doing all the work myself. And if you look at this little NAR blueprint that they kind of created, they're basically saying that realtors do a bunch of things. Well, I'm completely honest, I think this is probably 30% of what we actually do, but we all know that we're wearing multiple hats and doing multiple jobs doing our job. So every single time I landed a new listing, all my income producing activities had to pause so I could focus on servicing the client. And in this business, we call this a bottleneck effect. It's one of the major reasons why some real estate agents can't successfully scale their business past a certain level, okay? So there are three main income producing activities that can actually make you money in this business. And if you're not aware of them, I'm gonna go over them right now. Number one is prospecting, AKA building relationships. Number two is follow-up, AKA nurturing those relationships. And number three is consultations, AKA converting those relationships. So if you ever wanna get a next tattoo, get PFC on your wrist so you don't forget, okay? Secret number two, the real estate sales formula. The real estate sales formula is very simple. You wanna go out there and get more clients, you wanna sell more houses, there's only two things you control in this life: the number of leads that go into your database and how well you convert those leads. So if you wanna go out there and you convert 100 leads, let's say you speak to 100 people, but you are the worst person at buyer presentations or seller presentations, well, it's not gonna matter what you do, you're gonna have zero signed clients. And on the other hand, if you go out there and you have one lead, but you're the best buyer and seller presenter on the planet, you're gonna get at least one client. So you wanna start working on both simultaneously. So we run into another issue. 99% of real estate agents have the wrong definition of a lead. Can someone in the crowd give me their definition of a lead? Anyone that's not shy? Someone that you speak to? Anyone else? You've seen this before, haven't you? So essentially, most agents define the lead as a following: someone that wants to buy or sell real estate. And I'm sure we could kind of come to that agreement. And I want to redefine a lead, just so that we are all on the same page and we understand where we're going with this. A lead is a relationship, okay? So anyone that you come across, that you get their name, their contact info, and you build rapport with them. What do I mean by that? You know you sell real estate. How many people have called us saying, hey, I just sold my house, and you were like, wait, why didn't you call me? And they're like, I didn't even know you were in the business. So letting them know that you actually sell real estate is a big thing. But anyone that has three of these things, you have their name, their contact info, and rapport, that means you have a lead, okay? Once you redefine what a lead is, you start to realize that every single human being in your marketplace has the potential to become a future lead. So the next time you call your team leader or your broker and you say, hey, where do I get more leads from? Swap leads out with the word human, and then re-ask them again. Where do I get more humans from? And you'll see how silly that sounds, okay? So we have a little quiz for everyone just to make sure everyone's paying attention. I want everyone to give me an answer on, if I give you the option to go out there and work with buyer A, who's pre-approved, he has a budget of $500,000 and he's ready to buy in the next 90 days, versus buyer B, who's not pre-approved, but hey, he's looking to buy a luxury, $1 million house in a time frame of 3 years, which one would pick buyer A? Raise your hand. So about 40% of the crowd. Okay, and who's going with buyer B? Are buyer B's liars? Are you really gonna work with someone 3 years from now? You sure? Cool, okay, I like it. So essentially, I wanna do this. That's a good reason. So essentially, I wanna give everyone the reason I brought up this example. Buyer B is what you call a lead. It's someone that is ready to buy or sell at some point in the future. And it's not someone you should throw away. Usually what we do is we come across buyer B and we say, hey, I'm not really interested in working with you. I know you could be a good potential commission down the line, but if I'm not ready to make money now with you, why should I get able to work with you? Buyer A is usually the person we're looking for. We're looking for a prospect. Why? Because prospects are motivated. They're ready to buy and sell now. So let's define what a prospect is. A prospect is a lead that is ready to buy or sell in the next 90 days. And imagine a world where prospects from the sky. Essentially, you go out there and you get 10 listings because everyone wants to sell their house. Wouldn't it be so easy to go out there and do this business? Unfortunately, it doesn't work this way. We have to go out there and find the 1%. So there's a little spoiler alert, okay? If you want more prospects, you want more listings, you want more buyer clients, essentially you have to understand that leads turn into future prospects. Every single one of them, regardless of where they're at in their career or their life, they have to go through some point of motivation to understand that they need to sell their house. And when that time comes, boom, you got a prospect on your hand. So I'm gonna make this extremely simple. Humans turn into potential leads the second you get their name, their contact info, and you build rapport with them. And then as long as they have motivation in their life, they could have a death in the family, they could get married, they could be having kids, whatever reason may be, it's gonna give them a reason to go out there and wanna buy or sell real estate. If you follow up them during that time, they will turn into prospects. And instead of the prospects going on Zillow or a company that's gonna go out there and sell you the lead, essentially, they're gonna call you, okay? So I had my good friend David Blaine take this picture. I said, here, I'm gonna set up the camera and you're gonna throw these cards in the air and I'm gonna take a picture of it and standing and stand still, and he did it for me. The magic is in the follow-up, okay? The more you follow up, the more consistent you are on your follow-up routine, the better you will be at converting leads. And where I see all of the agents going out there and trying to do is they're trying to find these prospects. They're trying to search for the 1% instead of building really good follow-up systems. Who here has a weekly newsletter? Who here is sending out holiday text? Who here is sending out yearly voicemails or phone calls? And who here is sending out handwritten notes? So essentially about 40 to 50% of the entire crowd has a good follow-up system in place. Everyone else is really at the mercy of finding someone at the right time, which is a 1 out of 100 chance. So I'm gonna give everyone a quick 65-point follow-up campaign. It could be completely automated for that you could go out there and do this within 10, 15 minutes of your week. It doesn't cost you a single dollar, and as long as you have the right software in place, you can go out there and do it yourself. Very simple, 65 points stands for 65 touches throughout the year. And the first touch would be a weekly newsletter where you send this out every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday. And if you go out there and you do this successfully, you will buy real estate in your client's mind. They will remember who you are. They will stay up to date with your life. And just a quick little tip, don't make it about just listed. Don't make it about just sold. Make it personal. I'm going skiing this week and I'm going to record a quick little video. That's going to be my weekly newsletter next week. Next, you want to do a monthly holiday text. There's a bunch of holidays throughout the year. Use this as an excuse to just text someone and wish them a happy holiday. Do not ask them for business. Don't ask them if they're ready to buy or sell. You ask someone that 12 times a year and you're gonna end up on a restraining order. You wanna make sure that you're just reaching out to build a relationship, nurture them, stay in touch with them. And the last but not least, a yearly call/voicemail. The second your database gets to around 1,000 people, it becomes very tough for you to call every single person individually. I use software to just mass voicemail blast. Hey, what's going on? This is Juan calls with the Gold Bar team. Just checking in, wanted to find out what can I do to help you, okay? So next we have the real estate sales formula broken down even further. Essentially, any single time you go out there and you generate leads, all I'm saying is how can you go out there and build your database size? Your goal is to take your database size from 0 to 1,000 to 2,000 to 10,000 people. Once that database is built, what you have is a book of business, something you could go out there and replicate one day, something you could go out there and scale. Next, you want to implement the 65-point campaign. Even if it's 40 points, 50 points, 60, it doesn't matter. Something is better than nothing. Most agents have nothing. You implement this and you combine it at scale, it's gonna lead to referrals. Secret number 2, the 1% rule, okay? So essentially, the 1% rule states that the total number of leads in your database multiplied times 1% will equal the number of yearly referrals you get. And I've interviewed dozens of millionaire agents throughout the country, people doing 30, 40, 50, 100, $250 million a year in sales, and this is super to the point. It's scary how accurate this is. What I mean by this is if you go out there and you have a database of 1,200 people and you don't do anything but just put them on this campaign, you should generate about 1% or 12 yearly referrals from this. So if you have a goal to go out there and sell 30, 40, or 50 homes this year, essentially you want to go build a database of 3,000, 4,000, or 5,000 people. Instead of going out there and trying to chase after the for sale by owners or the Zillow leads or the expireds, and just chase after the low-hanging fruit, start building a book of relationships, and that thing will feed you every single year. If you go out there and you build a database of 10,000 people, which I believe is pretty close to what Ricky's built, and you multiply it times 1%, you should be closing 100 deals a year. Essentially, my database is anywhere between 12 to 15,000 people, and last year we closed anywhere between 120 to 150. So now that we have formulas, let's put it all together. Essentially, in order to make more money, and I know this may seem very simple, but you'd be surprised how much people complicate real estate. In order to make more money, we need to close more deals. And in order to close more deals, well, we need to put more deals on the contract. If you want to go out there and put more deals on the contract, we need to submit more offers. And if you want to submit more offers, we have to do more showings. More showings come from more clients, and more clients come from more prospects. And does everyone know where prospects come from? Leads. And where do leads come from? Humans, people. We all know what humans are. There's a bunch of humans in this room, right? So I want everyone to know that deals are infinite because humans are infinite. Humans are looking to get into the marketplace every single day. So the next time you feel like there's not enough leads out there, you just have to fix one problem. You're not building enough relationships with enough people, okay? So in conclusion, 99% of people we speak to are not going to be ready to buy or sell real estate at that moment. However, if you focus on building genuine relationships with the 99%, they will call you when they become the 1%, or even better, when they have a referral for you. My entire first year in the business, I focused on the 1%. I went out there and I did for sell by owners. I did the expireds. I bought every single lead off OpCity and Zillow, and I tried everything. Facebook ads, funnel, SEO, marketing. I literally tried every single shortcut that existed in this business. My second year, I started speaking to my family friends, colleagues, local homeowners, everyone on my Facebook group, my social media. I joined local business commerces. I joined BNI groups. I joined local director boards. I teamed up with brokers. I built a database of close to 100 to compete with other agents because I nurtured that person myself. And year to date, my database is over 12,000 people, okay? So in order to scale from 0 to 6 figures, number one, you wanna put the majority of your time and energy into income-producing activities. And does anyone know what those are? PFC, prospecting, follow-up consultations. Make it super simple for yourself. It's the only thing that makes you money. Number two, you want to rinse and repeat. I apologize, it says number one. I think it's just the PowerPoint. But number two, you want to rinse and repeat this. I know it sounds very repetitive and very boring, and like, where's the sexy funnel that just generates you 10 listings a month, Juan? I know you're just hiding it from us. No, this is really true. Every single one of the agents on my team prospects between 3 to 4 hours a day. We shoot for 5 contacts a day. 5 contacts a day leads to about 25 people a week. 25 people a week leads to about 100 a month. 100 a month is about 1,200 a year. If you're a first-time agent and you go out there and fill up your database with 1,200 people, for every 100, you're gonna close 1 deal. So that should mean as a first-year agent working the way you're supposed to be working, you should close 12 deals your first year. And number 3, this is probably the most important, you need to be patient. There's so many people that get into this and wanna make 6 figures year one. You don't have to make $100,000 year one to prove to yourself that you can do this. Even if it takes you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it may be, as long as you're patient and you're putting the focus on the consumer to really get value and add as much relationship to the actual transaction as possible, you're gonna end up winning. So this is my entire schedule. It's a little screenshot of my Google Calendar, and it shows that all of my actual activities revolve around income-producing activities, which, I'll say it again, is prospecting, following up, and consultations. And essentially what you want to do is block out your entire day to focus on these things as much as possible. And I know what you're going to say to me already, but Juan, I can't. I'm doing open houses. I'm doing showings. I have to go out there and service clients. I'm picking up phone calls from every single trying little tiny scenario. How do I go out there and do what you're doing? I don't have all these assistants. Well, we run into one final issue. Does anyone know what a dinosaur is? No one? Okay, so dinosaurs back in the day went extinct due to some bottleneck event. And I'm not going to go up here and discuss what made them go extinct, but essentially, we could all agree that something made them go extinct. That was a bottleneck event. If you look at real estate agents, they go through a very similar fate, where the average agent really just quits the business within 90 days. Most people quit the business within 2 years. Top producers get to this point where they understand building relationships, following up, and consultations is the key. And they get to this point where right around $300,000 GCI, maybe 200K, maybe 400K, depending on which market you're in, but it's usually around 2 to 3 closings a month. There's this feeling like you're getting burnt out. There's this feeling like the world is crushing in on you. There's clients calling you from every single angle. You have no idea what to do because you just have no time left to go out there and work with people, and it's just very overwhelming. And I tell everyone, congratulations, you've reached phase 2. You're at that point where you got what you wanted. You wanted this life where you're making money and you're closing all these clients, but now you're working for your clients, not the other way around. So there's 2 things that you could do. Number 1, you could continue going out there and being burnt out, working 80 hours a week, and eventually go extinct in this business, wanting to quit and do something else. Or you could implement leverage and go out there and succeed in the scaling process. So secret number 4, the scaling formula and how to get to 7 figures. And what I mean by 7 figures is make $1 million a year in gross commissions. Number 1, you want to go out there and work. Many agents are not working. I know my advice is very contrarian to what most coaches and what most gurus are preaching, but I believe that hard work, discipline, and consistency is really the key to building a successful business. And what do I mean by work? PFC, prospect, follow-up, consultations. I am telling you, this is the only thing I do. It's the only thing my agents do. Everything else you need to outsource. Number 2, if you go out there and you do this consistently over a 2, 3, 4-year period, you should be able to go out there and close, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 deals a year to get you to that $100K to $300,000 a year mark. And if you go out there and you work and combine leverage, that is the way that you go out there and actually scale. So let's say you get to that point where you're closing 2 or 3 deals a month, you are very overwhelmed, and now you go out there and you build systems. You build systems in the form of software, and you build systems in the form of automation. I'll go out there and help you scale to 3 to 4 deals a month. At that point, well, you should be making $400,000 a year. And when you have that system in place, and now you've realized you've worked with every single software and automation company, and everything is good to go, now you need to hire your first assistant. That admin, you could go out there and pay an entry-level position. You could pay them a 1% bonus on all your revenue just to make sure that they're incentivized to stay in the game and work with you. But once you hire that admin, your business changes forever. You want to outsource everything that has to do with documentation, paperwork, offers, MLS, anything that has to do with photography, inspections, appraisals, anything that is not PFC, give it to that admin, have them work that 40 hours a week. Once you go out of your way to understand that you are in that position where the only thing you're doing is really income-producing activities, there's one major thing taking up your time. Does anyone know what that is? Anyone? I'm not going to go till someone says something. Prospecting? You're already prospecting. Showing houses. You are literally showing houses 10, 15, 20 hours a week. And let's be honest, is it in your best interest to go out there, open up a door, and say, here's the kitchen, here's the bathroom, here's the window. Oh, this is stainless steel appliances. Anyone could do that. And anyone could be trained to do that at a high level. I know what you're thinking. I don't want to give up that control. What about the personal touch for my client? The client doesn't care who's showing them the house. As long as it's the house they're looking for, it's good quality service, and you're doing the right thing by them. So you need to go out there and get a showing agent. And when I mean showing agent, I don't mean a buyer agent you're giving 50% to. I mean someone that you're paying a salary or a per showing cost to go out there and show all of your properties for you. When you outsource all of your showings and you outsource all of your headaches when it comes to transaction management, administrative, and operations, the only thing that's possibly left for you to do is prospect, follow-up, and consultations. So you rinse and repeat this. You do it successfully. You have your own little tiny small team, and now you're going out there and you're doing $400, $450, $600, $700,000 a year. And now 2 years go by and you end up getting to the same point. Your showing agent is at full capacity. Your admin, well, she needs an admin, and you're being burnt out again. You're at 80 hours a week, but you don't want to stop. You want to get to $1 million a year. So what do? You implement more leverage. And instead of going out there and getting a buyer agent, you hire an assistant for your assistant. You get the second admin. The next thing you do is you get a buyer agent. Does anyone know where that buyer agent comes from? No one has an idea where you get a buyer agent nowadays? That's one. Anyone else? It's your showing agent. They've been working with you for a year. They probably showed who knows how many houses. So you promote the showing agent to be your buyer agent, and now what you end up in doing is you end up finding a listing agent. That listing agent is you. You are the first listing agent for your team. You perfect the listing process. You do it the way you want to do it. And now you have 2 assistants, a full-time buyer agent, and then you go out there and get a showing agent. And you rinse and repeat, and rinse and repeat, and rinse and repeat. And that's essentially how I built a team of 8 agents with 4 back-end staff, 6 VAs, and essentially it's how we closed close to $85 million with the real estate last year. So leverage, back to this, I kept saying it throughout the presentation. Leverage comes in 2 ways. Number 1 is systems, and number 2 is people. Systems comes in the form of software, CRM, and automation. And people come in the way of staff and virtual assistants. So when it comes to systems, this is exactly what I mean. I mean a CRM such as KV Core, it's personally what I use in my team. A software such as Asana, project management, handle ops. And people, you need good quality people in your organization that share the same values and have that work ethic that you want when you want to go out there and be hiring other people. So just to wrap up, 7-figure producers combine numbers 1 through 3. The law of millionaire agents, the real estate formula and how to use it, and the 1% rule and why it matters. And essentially, this is a quick little recap of what we went over. If you want to go out there and sell more real estate, you need to start prospecting more. And I don't mean prospecting 1 hour a week. I don't mean prospecting 1 hour a day. I mean 3 hours a day. If you give me 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, for at least 50 weeks, and you don't get one single client, call me and I will come personally train you for free. Number 2, the real estate sales algorithm. Instead of trying to go out there and close these deals where you're just doing this on your own and you're trying to find that person that's ready to buy or sell now, which is a really hard game to master, why don't you go out there and focus on everyone? Focus on every single person you come across, collect their business cards, send it to your assistant, have them put it into your actual system, and then boom, they're automatically on your campaign moving forward. And then last but not least, the 1% rule. Instead of going out there and saying, I'm going to close 50 deals this year, actually build a database that you could control based on filling it up, nurturing it, and following up with it. So, in conclusion, in order to scale from 0 to 7 figures, number 1, we're going to continue focus on building relationships, aka prospecting. Number 2, we're going to implement leverage, especially when you hit a plateau. When you feel like you're getting overwhelmed, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something right. At that point, when you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, the phone won't stop ringing. Implement leverage in the form of systems first, and then people after. And number 3, you want to rinse and repeat while carefully managing your profit and expenses. You want to make sure you don't scale too fast, because if your expenses get a hold of you in payroll, rent, utilities, and staff, essentially you could end up losing a lot more money before you make that money. It's very simple, right? Can everyone agree? Super simple, not rocket science, not reinventing the wheel, but it's definitely not easy. So I want everyone to go out there and just remember, the next time you feel like you're not really in a position where you have this uncertainty or you just feel like I could go out there and be doing more, start doing the work. PFC is the work. Start prospecting 3 hours a week. If you want to do anything in life, you have to be consistent with it. You have to do it over a long period of time. This is the only way to be successful, okay? So that's pretty much it. If anyone wants an entire copy of this presentation, I have the entire recording with the slides. I'll send it to you for free. Just follow me on Instagram and DM me at 0 to Diamond. We'll give it out to everyone for free after this class. And then essentially, if you have any referrals for me in New York or in Florida, I'd be happy to help you as well. That's pretty much everyone. Thank you so much.
Give it up for Juan. You're amazing, Juan. Every time I see you speak, you're just incredible. And the fact that he's offering up all of his slides, whew, because I know, listen, it's really hard to take it all in. But speaking of, we're going to keep the show rolling. So next up, we have William Patrick, and he's going to be talking about how you can take action and unlock your full potential. So William was born and raised in the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina, where he still resides. He started his real estate career in June of 2020 when he joined EXP under Ricky Carruth, who became his mentor. And although Ricky's guidance and philosophies have been part of 40 transactions totaling over $10 million in volume, with every single one of those transactions originating from a cold call. And in July of 2021, William became a team leader when he started his own real estate team called the Phase Group. William is a prime example of what can happen if you use Ricky's strategies and put in some hard work. You can find him on Instagram and YouTube at Real Estate William. We'll be putting out more content to share his journey so you two can all grow together and become more successful in real estate. Welcome, William.
By the summer of 2015, I had weighed just over 300 pounds. By 2020, I hadn't lived a fully sober day in over 6 years, and I had dropped out of college with a negative number in my bank account. And that is the same person that is standing here right now, and a lot has happened since then. I've overcome a lot of obstacles, and I've learned so much through these various battles. I can honestly say that I could sum up everything that I've learned in 2 simple words: take action. My goal here today is to inspire you to do just that. So briefly, I want to give you a quick overview of how I got to my lowest point. During that year of doing basically nothing, so I was getting ready to graduate high school. I was lost. My grades were too poor to go to any university, and I had no passion for anything. I didn't have the slightest clue what I wanted to do with my life, and I wound up taking a gap year in between continuing my education, finding a job, or pursuing anything. It wasn't a decision that I made to take that year off. It just kind of happened due to a lack of taking any type of initiative. During that year of doing basically nothing, one of the only things that I did do was think. I had plenty of time for it. All of my friends were gone pursuing their own life. I had no school where I wasn't working, so all I really did do was think. My mind kept returning to this idea of losing weight. At 300 pounds, being that big was probably the biggest obstacle in my life. It made physical activities difficult, it made me extremely insecure, and more than anything, it cultivated this ideology that in my mind I was less, and that I wouldn't amount to anything. My insecurity was so bad that I don't even have a senior picture in my high school yearbook. I didn't want anyone to see me, and I remember running to the bathroom to hide before class presentations, just so I wouldn't have to be seen. So I came to the conclusion that if I lost weight, everything could change for me. In the beginning, I started by just simply researching the topic. I learned how much to eat, how to count calories, how to burn calories, and I started doing it. I became obsessed with health, and it's all I thought about. Every morning, the first thing that I would do is step on the scale. I took off for my morning run, and I would meticulously count all of my calories throughout the day, and I stayed extremely consistent at it. And during that gap year, I lost over 120 pounds. I conquered my goal, and I felt great about it. And when my friends came back from college, they could hardly recognize me. All of the praise and compliments that I got made me feel very accomplished, and this definitely helped me gain some confidence. But after a while, the compliments started to fade off, the praise would lessen, and the feeling of accomplishment would also soon wear off. Now that I had accomplished my goal, I had nothing else to work for. I was lost and confused yet again. My healthy diet would continue, and I kept exercising regularly, but it was boring at that point. I was just maintaining. Soon after, I got involved with the wrong crowd. My workouts would be followed by indulging in drugs and alcohol. It became a bad habit, and before long, I was abusing all types of substances. For some reason, it just made me feel better about how lost I was, and I guess in a way, it kind of just helped me not think about it. Over the course of the next 6 years, I didn't live one sober day. During that time, I enrolled in a local community college, but that didn't go well. My substance abuse was a vicious cycle, ruining all of my relationships, my work ethic, my dedication, and more importantly, my sense of self. I lost myself. I was in a dark place, and I was in a cycle of coming down every morning and searching for a way to pay for the next up, and it was exhausting. I fell into a deep depression, and it got to the point where I even contemplated taking my own life. And then in a way, I did kind of take my own life. I took control of it. I decided to take action. Fast forward 18 months later, and now I'm on this stage talking to you guys. And that's how fast your life can change. You know what the craziest part about this whole story is that nothing about myself actually changed. I just made a life-changing decision to take action. I stopped watching life happen, and I started making life happen. Taking action isn't something that you learn. It's not something that you have to work for. It's a decision, and making a choice is the easiest thing in the world that you can do. It requires no physical or mental effort. You just decide to do it. That's the first step to taking action, making the decision to do so. Decisions change the world, for good and for bad. Your past decisions have created who you are today, and your present decisions will create who you can become tomorrow. And it's evident that everyone in this room wants to succeed. You came across Ricky's videos for a reason, and you attended this event for a reason. And we've heard Ricky tell us exactly what we need to do to succeed in this industry. And that's half the battle, knowing how. And it's been given to us through hundreds of YouTube videos and thousands of Instagram posts. If you haven't found success in this industry yet, it's either because time hasn't caught up with your efforts or you haven't made the choice to take action. And that's probably because it takes a lot of patience, which for most people is an uncomfortable situation to be in. My weight loss story can be directly correlated with anything you want to do in your life. The sequences are exactly the same. Figure out what you want to do. For me, it was to lose weight. Do some research on the topic and figure out how to do it. Start doing it while the idea is fresh and your motivation is strong. Learn through the experience, make adjustments, and most importantly, take action. Just do it. The real estate game works the exact same way. So I was at that first step, figuring out what I wanted to do. I always had an interest in real estate, architecture, investing, and of course making money sounded nice. I came across the idea of real estate investing. For some reason, I thought getting my license would be a good way to get a start, and it was a lot faster and cheaper than getting a degree, and it correlated more with my goals and direction than any degree did. So while the idea was fresh, that's what I did. I got my license. In June of 2020, I was at the very beginning stages, struggling to figure out how to do this whole real estate thing. I was researching how to generate business, and I came across a video called Live Cold Calling with Ricky Carruth. And I was like, who's this guy? So I watched the video. It looked like Ricky was just having fun, making calls and talking to people. And I love the idea of just talking to people to generate business. I actually reached out to Ricky directly on Instagram, and we were on a phone call 30 minutes later. Long story short, like a lot of people in the audience today, Ricky became my mentor. He changed my life in more ways than even he himself knows. His story helped me feel like mine was just getting started. From him sleeping on his friends' couches and struggling with his own sobriety, it made me feel like I could do the same thing. After speaking with Ricky, that's when I got extremely serious about real estate. He told me what to do, which was to cold call and create relationships, and so that's what I did. 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, until I actually got my first deal. I was 14,000 dials deep before it actually materialized into a listing. At the beginning, I was scared, and I didn't know anything about real estate. I had no experience cold calling, and I soon realized, man, I really suck at this. And sure, it was hard getting cursed out every day, but eventually you get numb to it, and as you get better, people get nicer. Through those 14,000 no's, I had to become a cold calling king. Through experience, I learned how to make people comfortable with me, how to handle objections, how to follow up, and when to set an appointment. The first step was the decision to make the calls. And after making those 14,000 calls, I learned what step number 2 to taking action is. Become comfortable with being uncomfortable. You can't be afraid to experience discomfort if you want to grow. Why do you think I'm up here on this stage right now? Ricky gave me an opportunity to come up here and tell my story. And for me, the idea of public speaking alone is terrifying. But when you have an opportunity like this, you have to take it. I'd rather regret failure, knowing that I gave it my all, than regret not even giving it a shot. And every single day, we have the opportunity to pick up the phone and start dialing. Of course, it's uncomfortable to cold call, regardless of the approach. But to me, what's more uncomfortable than cold calling is the idea of waking up in 5 years with no sales, knowing that if I would have just kept trying, I would be in a completely different place. So it was the only option. I stopped focusing on the end goal, which was to get a listing, and I started focusing on the progress that I was making. Every time I got someone's email, it felt like I got a listing. Every time I saw the dialer hit 500 dials, I knew that that day I put in the work, and regardless of the outcome, I was okay with that. It became a game to me, and I got obsessed. I felt like I was already a top listing agent, and before I knew it, listings started coming in left and right. When you stop focusing on the negatives and you start focusing on the progress that you're making, all of that discomfort will eventually turn into success. There's not a single successful person in this world that didn't have to step outside of their comfort. Exactly why so many people fail. They stay comfortable. The definition of a true professional is someone who knows what to do and does it despite the hardships along the way. Once you make the choice to take action and develop that comfortability with being uncomfortable, you already have everything that you could ever need. You just have to stay consistent and never give up, which is the third and final step in taking action: consistency. Never give up. The only reason I'm here right now is because no matter how dark things got, I always saw a sliver of light at the end of the tunnel. Once I started taking action, that light became brighter. And after I continued doing so, it kept getting brighter until it was right in front of me. It was hard getting to this point. It was hard to stay consistent when I was making all of these calls and I still had no deals. But what we have to realize is that every difficult task in life is just a series of small and easy tasks. Losing 120 pounds was hard, but taking one step wasn't. Taking the next step wasn't. You keep doing that over and over, and all of a sudden you ran a mile. Run a mile every day, and all of a sudden running 2 miles doesn't seem like a crazy idea. You keep doing this over and over, and before you know it, you're running a marathon. Consistency creates prolonged consistency. There's this very powerful concept in physics called inertia. An object in rest tends to stay at rest, while an object in motion tends to stay in motion. If you can simply make the initial choice to get the ball rolling, it gets so much easier to keep it rolling. And the hard part isn't doing the work. It's not having the intention to be successful. It's making the choice to do it. Because we always intend to do something when the idea first strikes us. But if you wait to act, the intent begins to diminish, and before you know it, it's gone. So you have to act immediately, ride that momentum, stay consistent, never give up, and anything is possible. A lot of you are going to feel motivated today after Ricky comes out here and speaks, and my goal is to inspire you to take that motivation while it's strong and act on it. If I can do this, I know that you can do this. There's nothing special about me whatsoever. The reason that I'm here telling you guys my story today is because I really want you to grasp the idea that anyone in this room can do this. I was clinically obese. I was broke. I was a college dropout. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. The only thing that changed about me was the choice that I made to take action. Then I got comfortable with it, and I stayed consistent. The same kid who ran to the bathroom to hide before a class presentation is on stage right now, talking to a crowd of people. The same kid who was 300 pounds is standing here 120 pounds lighter, and the same kid who didn't live a sober day for 6 years straight has been sober for over a year. That same kid who couldn't even pay his rent now owns 4 properties, and the same kid who got on that call with Ricky with 0 sales last month. Thank you. And that same kid who got on the phone call with Ricky with 0 sales 18 months ago has done 50 plus deals and sold over $12 million worth of real estate. All I did was take action, and that's all that it takes to go from 0 to diamond. Thank you.
William, oh my goodness. William, you're incredible. Give it up for William. I mean, what an inspiration. We each have our own journeys. We each have our own unique set of skills, experiences, background. Just know that even though we're on our own journeys, We may be in business for ourselves, but we're not in business by ourselves. Look around. We're in a room full of people that are here to just give, pay it forward, network, make referral partnerships, and just make camaraderie and have relationships that you can count on. So William, thank you so much. I know you've been through so much, but my friend, being able to pay that forward to others, I have chills up and down. I don't know about you guys. Give it up for him one more time. All righty. You guys are doing so great here. This is awesome. Just a reminder, we are streaming live for anyone that's tuning in live, and this is an interactive experience, so please feel free to contact our speakers on Instagram, etc. And also feel free to contact myself. We'll be posting some great things throughout the day, so you can interact, ask questions. We just want you guys to get as much value as possible. So next up, we have Matt Hartman. So Matt has closely mentored hundreds of producing agents and overseen billions of dollars in transactions, billions with a B, unbelievable, in the process as process of being broker owner with Remax, and now as a team mega icon leader with EXP. He believes agents run out of capacity faster than they run out of leads, and therefore focuses much of his agent training on systems. Welcome, Matt.
Works here. So I'm gonna take this off. Oh. Good morning. Oh, that's loud. So thanks for coming out today. I had a chance to meet William in Las Vegas a few months ago, and he's a great guy. So it was awesome. So I am a broker. I managed over about a couple hundred agents, and we did about 600 million this year in production, and actually more than 20 I see overseas did about that much. So I'm going to talk just about buyers today, because I know we talk a lot about listings, but I do think there's a game changer for you guys with buyers to help you scale. And a lot of you being newer, you're going to work with buyers. So it's a good thing for you guys to be able to scale until you get to that 7-figure level that Juan's at. So let me start with this. This is Brian. So Brian's a friend of mine. He's a great guy. He is a Marine combat veteran, very adventurous guy, and he is a little bit crazy too. So Brian decided one day that he was going to go sell homes in Paris. And in Paris, they have something called the mandat simple. I don't know how to pronounce that right, but the idea is it's a non-exclusive contract. So what that means is that every person that's going to sell their home can hire as many agents as they want to sell their home. So every person goes and meets with these sellers, and then they literally run out of the apartment or the place they're going to sell to try to get back to their contacts and try to get back to New York City, to Chicago, all over the world where these people are trying to buy homes in Paris so they can try to get the deal. Now that seller has no obligation to any agent, no obligation to any the agent brings a buyer and that buyer decides to go around the agent. It's perfectly fine. So it's it makes no sense, right? So what I think what also makes no sense though is that most buyers, most agents in the United States don't work under a contract. And so here's the thing, time is our most valuable asset. Do you guys agree with that, right? And buyers typically require more time than sellers. Do you guys agree with that? And so prime time, evenings and weekends, is the most scarce of that valuable asset. We don't get contracts. So what I found is that agents spend most of their time, their most valuable asset, without a promise to be paid, which doesn't make any sense. Do you guys agree with that? So what I want to do is talk to you guys about why agents don't do it and then what you can put into place in your business to get you to work with buyers under contract. So a lot of agents are disorganized. As they start to scale, they're just very disorganized. They don't have the time to put processes in place. So they just continue to just be disorganized. They get more business, but they're just running into just constant headaches with working with buyers. They also don't like confrontation. If many of you remember your first listing presentation, you don't like having to tell people that they've got to pay you an obscene amount of money to sell their home, correct? Like in California, they're paying us $60,000, $70,000, sometimes more than that, to sell their home. So they don't like the confrontation. They're also afraid of losing the buyer. So what that means is they know that there's a chance that the buyer doesn't want to work with them under contract. They're going to lose that buyer. They're going to go away from them. And they don't want to do that. So instead, they rely on hope. They just hope that everything works out. They go show homes. They hope that everything works out. They find the right house, and they buy with them. Some agents are lazy, but I don't want to go negative, so I'll skip those agents. Okay, so a lot of agents, though, are overconfident. They just think, hey, I'm so great and charismatic. They're never going to leave me. They told me they love me. I'm showing them houses. We're having a great time doing it. They'll never leave me until they get that phone call where they say, hey, here we bought a house. We went into this open house, and the agent said, hey, come on, write an offer with me, and you'll get it. And I thought you'd be so happy for us, right? So a lot of agents, though, they just haven't been taught, right? They just haven't been taught. So this is the main thing. They just haven't been taught how to do it right, and that's what I want to do for you guys. So Ricky talks about when a client doesn't work with you, they give you your future time back. Have you heard Ricky say that, right? They give you your future time back when they don't work with you, which is basically called opportunity cost, right? Opportunity cost is a business concept that the time you spend on one thing takes away opportunity to work on another, right? And so with buyers, though, you can't get your past time back. So every Saturday and Sunday you spend with a buyer going around showing homes, maybe that's multiple Saturdays and Sundays, you could be spending time finding somebody who will commit to your process. So when we chase buyers that won't commit to our process, they just want us to jump in the car and show them houses, but they won't commit to our process of coming into the office, sitting down and working with us, then they're gonna likely waste all that time we could have been spending finding buyers that will work with you. So you have to be willing to let those buyers that won't work in your process go away so you can find the people who will work in your process. So you can run your business based on hope or strategy, and I believe in doing strategy. So a lot of agents lose what I call the urgent versus important battle, okay? They miss out on family and personal events, they miss out on training and development, and they miss out on working on their business because security of losing a client that's not under contract makes them have a sense of urgency that's unnecessary. What I mean by that is, I have agents that say to me sometimes, oh, I missed a training, I had to go show homes. And I thought, well, why didn't you just tell them you had an appointment and you couldn't show homes and you could show them homes later? And it's because they're worried that buyer is gonna go and call Redfin, or they're gonna call another agent, so they feel like I have to go in and help this person right now, right when they need it. So they become these quick order takers because they don't have a contract where they can keep control over their business. They miss out on family events, they miss out on working on their business. They don't keep time blocks like the prospecting time blocks Juan was talking about. They don't prospect because they're out showing homes instead of prospecting. So working with buyers is a good thing. So some people decide just not work with buyers. If buyers are such a hassle, let's not work with them. But they're 50% of your revenue opportunity, right? So even if you're not gonna work with them, like Juan was saying, leverage, you still have to have processes in place in your business to work with buyers so you can have your buyer's agent following those processes, or else they fall victim to this whole thing, right? So you have to have buyers as part of your business. The problem is, and by the way, buyers are not liars, right? You hear that before? Buyers are liars. And that's really because of this, right? Most agents don't have a process, and most buyers don't understand the system. When I first started on the business and I didn't know any better, I was at a house and I was showing a house, and down the street there was a sign, so I looked up the home and I said, oh, that one's pending, right? That's why we're not seeing that one today. And the guy looks at me and says, oh yeah, we made an offer on that this weekend, and we lost. I thought, wait, I didn't write that offer. So the idea was some buyers don't even understand that we're not just out there being paid by our brokers to go show houses. They may not know. Most buyers do nowadays, but sometimes they don't. So if you have a process that understands how to establish value to buyers, you know how to establish your value up front, you will make a lot more money in less time with buyers. And so how is it done? So first you have to have a buyer consultation. How many of you guys do a buyer consultation? Good, I'm glad to see that, good. You have to communicate your value, just like a listing presentation, and then you have to ask to be hired. How many of you asked to be hired at the end of it? A little bit less, but good, good. You have to be paid, good. So I'm preaching to the choir here, good. Okay, so what's in it for the agent? Oops, okay, thank you, there you go. Lost my, perfect, okay. So it exposes agendas. So what this means is somebody won't come in and meet with you in your office. They're either not committed to buying a home or they're not committed to working with you. Because if they do really want to buy a house, they will come in and meet with you at the office. It also sets the proper expectations when it's calm, right? So in California right now, I don't know about here, but we have to write every offer about $50,000 above asking price just to be looked at, right? We have to make that top 5, and if you don't come in that strong, you're not even be looked at. So telling a buyer that 5 minutes before they have to sign the thing is not an easy thing to do, but when you sit down with them weeks ahead of time and set that expectation and let them know this is what the market is right now, then it becomes much easier for them to do it and play ball at the time. So even if you didn't get the contract, just setting these expectations will help you out immensely, right? So it also gives them a game plan of when their timing is, what they want in a home, and so that really helps a lot there. Also gives you more referrals because people like structure. Do you guys agree that people like structure? It makes safety, it makes them feel safe. So if you don't get referrals, it's probably because your clients don't really think you're that really organized. Like, they'll put up with you if they like you, right? If they like you, you can be 10 minutes late. You cannot have a process. If they really like you, they might work with you. But they're not going to refer their closest friends and family because they're afraid you might drop the ball with them. So it gives you more referrals when you have a process. Also, you get paid, which is a good thing. You don't get that $150 phone call when they say they bought the open house, and you throw your phone down, crack the screen, now you got to pay for a new screen on your phone, right? So what's in it for the buyer? It removes sales pressure. When you're hired, you're not trying to sell them homes anymore. You're just trying to show them homes, and you're trying to just make sure that they're getting the right service, right? It also gives them a full-time dedicated agent and a professional, because professionals work under contract, and you will be able to dedicate all your time to them because you know that it also has no conflict. There's no conflict of interest like by trying to sell them a house. It also makes you a top priority, because if they're under contract with you now, they're a top priority to your business. You can miss things to show them because you know they're going to pay you. Lastly, there's not an always be closing mentality, right? So it's not just to try to get them to buy the house. It's also when you try to keep the escrow together, because if you think this one falls apart, they might fire me and go find another agent. So when you know that you can walk away from any deal because you know you're going to get paid eventually, you're not pressured to feel like you have to try to keep a deal together when it's not in their interest, right? So it aligns those interests. So it's a beautiful thing, right? When you get the contract, it makes sure you're going to get paid. Agents are going to only work with you. I mean, the buyers only work with you. They're working cooperatively with you. They're following your proven process. They're following your guidance and advice, and they're buying a home, most importantly. So it's a beautiful thing to get a buyer-broker agreement. How many of you guys have buyer-broker agreements that you use? Good. Okay, so you guys agree. Well, I'm glad that you guys do that. And most of the people in my neck of the woods don't do it, so I'm glad to see you guys are. So when should you start? Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but NAR approved, right here, if you go on Redfin, right, you see the commissions offered out. Do you guys see that now? Right? How many other brokers are advertising the commissions now here? The MLS is here, yeah. So that's happening, right? So buyers now see what you're getting paid, right? And they also now said we can't say it's free, right? Some agents used to say it's free to work with the buyer's agent, right? And so that you can't say that anymore. And you have to be able to establish, you know, the commissions you're earning them. And so now Realogy, I don't know if you heard about this, but the CEO basically called on NAR to eliminate the necessity listing agent to offer out any commission at all. Do you guys hear about that? So now there's more and more pressure. In our MLS, people are offering out $1. Does that happen here? Okay, so in California, people are offering out $1, and now we've got to write our commissions into the contract. So it's hard to get a buyer to do that if you haven't already sat down with them, got under contract with them, and explained your value. So now's the time, more than ever, to put this process into place, because as agents, we're going to have to be establishing our value and making them understand it's worth it to have us on their side. So buyers agents need to justify their value, like I said. So now's the time to do it. I want you guys to be able to learn and commit to a process of doing this if you're not already. And this is Eric Lambert. He's on my team in California. Eric closed about $65 million in buyer side transactions only before he's 30. So a few years he did that. He's done more on the listing side as well. But here's the thing about that. That's good, right? But Eric spends about 25% of his time traveling while he's doing that. So he's got it very leveraged. The other thing is, he spends a lot more time playing video games. Don't tell him I told you that, but I think he plays a lot of video games. So, right, Eli? Yeah. So anyhow, Eric was featured on Tom Ferry as what they called the buyer ninja, okay? So this is because he put my process into place. He knows how to get buyers under contract. He has other agents show him homes, just like Juan was talking about, but they're under contract with him. And then he's able to make sure that they don't go anywhere else. And so he actually just recently has done a training series for Zillow Premier Agent reps when they're selling to agents how to close buyers and how to put a process in place. And it's just a process that we teach. So Eric has really made a name for himself with that. And so I can help you the same way. So whatever you guys are doing now, even if you're already doing this process, I can maybe give you some tips to help you with that. So I don't have time to do it today, and I've tried to speak at Juan's speed here because I don't have a lot of time. But what it includes is basically step-by-step buyer consultation, all the materials you need to do it right, how to sell the buyer consultation. So not only how to do it, but how to close and make sure people come into the office, also how to handle objections, other working tips with buyers, and then also other tools and templates for working with buyers. So we have all this, and because you're here, I'm trying to upsell you. This is not a paid thing. I'll never try to upsell you. This is all free. So if you guys go, there's if you guys want to take a picture of that right now, that is a QR code. It'll take you to a registration page. You can register there. I'll also have something in the back too for you guys, but I'll send you this all free. There's not an upsell. There's no other courses. It's just this because I want to help the industry, because I really do believe we have to maintain this high standards in our industry. And I believe that our best chance of being able to not be disrupted, as we say, is if we're professionals on both sides with buyers and sellers. And so I want everybody to start putting this into place as realtors, because I think we're under attack all the time. And I think if we establish our value, you guys will be able to really do a professional job for your clients. So, anyhow, so that's that, and I'm done, I think. So I want to thank you guys for listening, and we'll enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Matt. Give it up for Matt. Notice how I have my mask on? Who here loves Ricky? Who here would hate to be responsible for the $2,000 per person that is unmasked that would be billed to Ricky Carruth? We don't want that, guys, so please mask up unless you're eating or drinking, or if you're a speaker. I'm usually in director of fun at the Fun Police, but thank you very much, because we love Ricky and we don't want to cost him $2,000 per person. Give it up. Sharing the love. All right, cool. So guys, this event would not be possible without our incredible sponsors. So first, we're gonna bring up our main sponsor, Kevin Green of the Green Team at Cross Country Mortgage. Kevin, welcome to the stage.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me? I feel like a professor or something here. Wow, room full of realtors and there's a lender sponsor. What? What are the chances? Chances of that? Look, I'm here supporting this because I love to help realtors, and I've got some real value, especially in this market. So I hate to leave you with a teaser, but I've been told I need to keep this under 2 minutes. So I'm gonna give you bullet points, okay? I can turn your buyers into cash buyers. Feel free to gasp. I can guarantee that your buyers are never going to be contingent when they're with me. And then I have a fast track where we can close in 10 days with a $10,000 guarantee to the sellers. And it's working, you guys. Like, this is working. We're getting contracts. So this is about you. I want you to be one and done, 2 and through. I don't want you taking clients to 20 plus houses and losing 6 offers. So your time is money. So I'm happy to talk the details with you one-on-one, and thanks for coming out.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin. So next, we're gonna invite Karen Hyman from 2 to 10 Home Bee Warranty to the stage. Welcome, Karen. Ooh, do we have a raffle? Do I sense a raffle? Oh.
Hello, everybody. I am so honored to be here and speak to you about something you probably hate, home warranties. I do have a figure I want to share with you. 102% growth in home warranty usage in Colorado in the past year. We did not expect that because people are buying as is. They're foregoing inspections, what have you. But we're using all of our excess funds to purchase that house. We don't necessarily have $9,000 in the bank for a new air conditioning system or $5,000 for a furnace. So that's why we're seeing the growth. In addition to the fact it is in the contract, you need to let your buyers know the availability of a warranty. What we have seen change is that typically we see the seller providing the warranty for the buyer for a host of reasons. More what we're seeing now is the buyer purchasing the home warranty out of the deal, calling me, my agent suggested I call you to get a home warranty. It's such an important product. But what I want to just make, I know I have a few minutes, I just want to clear up some misinformation about a home warranty. The purpose of a home warranty is budget protection. It is not meant to rehab your home. It is not meant to take care of every little thing and negate all of your expenses. If you have a good warranty, a comprehensive plan, it is going to save you thousands of dollars. That's what it's for. The other misnomer we hear, it's not meant for an emergency. It's a $500 or $600 product. We don't have vendors on call 24/7 that if your heat goes out on a Friday, we're not putting in a new furnace on Saturday. It is normal business hours. It's budget protection. So those are the things most people get upset about and why we have people say home warranties aren't worth anything, mostly because they don't understand the product, they have unrealistic expectations. So we just need to understand what it is. You want to use a company that has no age restrictions. You want to use a company that does not have a dollar cap on HVAC. That's where we save our money. We don't have any age restrictions. A lot of these companies do, and I would caution you this. When you talk to your warranty rep, no matter who you choose, ask them what their contractor network is, because they may just want to send you a warranty and they don't have any contractors to service your claims. It's a big problem. I see it all the time. Ask the questions. What's your age policy? What's your max on HVAC? What's your contractor network like? It's super important to have a successful experience. You do not want to recommend a company, your client has a bad experience, and they come back at you. It's a bad all around. So please take your time, do your due diligence. I know there's all these fancy companies out there saying you can use your own vendor. Be careful. You can use your own vendor, but they have a very low limit. They're not paying it unless you get it approved first. And they have a lot of small print around that. Be sure to read that. One of the things that I see on my competitors, they will send a sample contract when they send their brochures. And then when you get the warranty, they send the real contract, and it's got all the little fine print. With 210 Home Buyers Warranty, our brochure has our real contract in it. It has all the terms and conditions, nothing to hide, nothing showing up later. We are a national company, been in business 41 years. Corporate headquarters are right here in Aurora, Colorado. We only do warranties. We're not a title company. We're not a financial company. We are also the largest producer of structural warranties in the country. 1 out of every 7 homes has a 210 structural warranty. If you have any questions, come see me in the back. Would you draw a card for a $50 Amazon? Thank you, everybody.
Wonderful. We love giveaways. We love them. Next, we're going to invite Becca Strang from First Integrity. Becca.
Good morning. I'm thrilled to be here with you guys today. Real quick, I'm going to give you a few highlights about First Integrity Title, and then a few things about me, your go-to at First Integrity Title, for those of you who aren't familiar. But First Integrity Title has been around for about 22 years. We're the second largest privately owned title company in Colorado. You might say, why do I care that you're privately owned? The beauty of that is that I have the owner's cell phone number in my phone. If there's something squirrely and wonky going on, I can call them up directly and say, what do you think about this? I think you can work with any title company when you got an easy deal, but what happens when you have a wonky one? You want to know that you have a title company that knows how to kind of wade through the wonky waters with you. And so that's what I take great pride in, is that I know all the people at our company, I know who to call. So one thing I want you to know about today is how we can save your sellers money. I know they're constantly haggling you about commission. So one thing I want you to know about is how can you at least save the money on title? Keep in mind, maybe even jot this down, but if you have a property that was either purchased or refinanced, essentially they obtained title insurance somewhere, purchased or refinanced in the past 6 years, we will apply a 30% discount, and we'll go even deeper if it's more recent. So if it was in the past 3 years, we'll apply a 50% discount. Keep it in mind, my favorite thing to do is to run you a title quote, get you a seller's net sheet, so you can go to a listing presentation and show them exactly how much they should be walking away with on closing day. So my role at the company is simple. It's purely to bring in title orders. So when you have a listing, I make money. You say, hey, Becca, I've got a listing. Can you introduce me to a really good closing team in your Lakewood office or in your DTC office or in your Westminster office? We've got 8 locations all over the place and then a bunch of executive suites, even from Fort Collins to Colorado Springs. So my role is to get you connected to a great closing team that I have vetted and worked with over and over for the past 7 years, and also just be a resource to you. So because I'm commission-based, just like you, I have a sincere invested interest in just seeing you grow and get listings specifically. So with that in mind, I would love to be a resource to you as you're growing your business. This is a vibe of growth here today, and so I want you to know about just some different ways I can support you and be a resource. I do have a booth back here at First Integrity Title next to the breakfast stand, which there's more of. And come and say hi, drop your business card. I'd love to send you a full list of my tricks, but just keep in mind a few ways that I can support you this year is marketing resources, fun things like hot springs to visit in Colorado, just a way to stay top of mind with your sphere. Or for circle prospecting, coming soon, just listed under contract, just sold. I teach classes on Facebook for lead gen, LinkedIn for real estate lead gen, and geographic farming. Would love to kind of loop you into classes that I have coming up. And mailing lists, which brings me to my final resource I would love to enlighten you on, is an app we have called Fluid Pro. It searches nationwide, it pulls from assessor data, and I know you can get assessor data and access to data in something like MLS, RE Colorado, but this is gonna go above and beyond what you even have. It's gonna even show you a full chain of title. How do the owners hold titles at joint tenants, first tenants in common? It's not to replace a title company, but hey, what if it's Saturday and you just really quickly need to know an answer on something like that? So it gives a detailed look at any given property, or you can draw a circle around the property and the surrounding homes and pull a full mailing list, including all the details of when did they last refinance, when did they pull a last deed of trust, what was the interest rate, what is the estimated value. It's wild. So keep in mind, Fluid Pro, you can register, you can just sign up back there. It's free, it searches nationwide. You can pull a mailing list in 2 minutes, and I'm teaching a one CE class on it next week. So when you do sign up, I'll send you a link to that. One CE, free credit. Anyways, Becca Strang, First Integrity Title, I would love to work with you when you have a listing. And if I can just get you a seller's net sheet, run some numbers for you, thrilled to do that, and would love to get your information so I can keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Becca. Last but not least, Michael Athens from Cutco. Welcome, Michael.
Got some woos from the crowd. I like that. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? My name is Michael Athens. My company is actually Gifts with an Edge. And my mission really is to help my realtors and my lenders to increase their 5-star reviews, increase their referrals, and most importantly, to create raving fans out of their clients. And basically, we do this with the only forever branding system on the planet. So real quick, who in here is familiar with Cutco products? Raise your hand. Awesome, a bunch of you. Now keep your hands raised if you own Cutco and have had it, let's say, more than 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25. I think, Sarah, how long have you had yours for? 15 years? Awesome, still use it all the time? So my question for everyone in the room is, when you think about the different things that you may have given out to a client, whether it was something for a closing, something for a referral, something for holidays, how many of those things even have the potential to stick around for 15 plus years? And not something that's sitting on the wall or sitting on a shelf, but something that's being picked up and used on a daily basis. There's not really that much out there. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with Cutco, they're essentially like the Rolex or the Tiffany's of the kitchen, because everything's super high quality. They've been made in America for over 70 years. Everything's guaranteed forever, and they're used every day. And what we do is we take the Cutco products and we engrave them with your information. So your name, your logo, big and bold, or small and discreet, however you like, turning your client gift into a long-term branding and retention tool. So now, with a group this size, there's probably maybe 3, 4, 5 of you going, really? Knives as a client gift? Yes, and here's why. According to NAR, 80% of people say, yep, I love my realtor, I'm totally gonna use them on the next transactions, and I'm gonna send all my friends and family to them. And then less than 12% do. So from 8 out of 10 to 1 out of 10. So why does this happen? Well, statistically, it's one of two things. Either number one, they literally cannot remember your name off the top of their head. Or number two, your contact info isn't readily available when they need it, when their friend's in their kitchen asking for a referral. So that's where we come in. We're the glue that ensures that your clients never forget you. One of my favorite quotes is by Patricia Fripp, who's the international keynote speaker for Toastmasters. And she says, "It is not your customer's job to remember you. It is your obligation and responsibility to make sure they don't have the chance to forget you." And that's what we do. And the best part is we're doing it with money that you're going to spend on a gift either way. We're just diverting funds from consumable junk with no ROI to a tool that's used daily forever and will actually increase your business. I see a lot of you guys have been taking notes today. Something you might want to jot down is that according to Forbes magazine, if you can increase your retention by just 5%, that's it, just 5%, it'll increase your profitability by a minimum of 25%. On top of that, who in here knows how much you're allowed to deduct in taxes for a client gift? $25, that's it, it's crazy. Hey, thanks so much for the $8,000 commission check, here's $25 to Chili's. Doesn't fit. Because our gifts are branded with your information, they are 100% tax deductible as advertising and promotional items, so you can write off the full amount. And then lastly, wrapping up, what I love to do for my agents, for my lenders, is to put a system in place for your business to save you time, money, and energy. So basically, we have a couple different systems that we've been using for the last decade or so for most of our agents. The first way is super simple. Most of our agents order like 6 months, a year's supply of gifts. We ship them to you up front in one box to save you on shipping, but then we spread out and bill you over the next 6 to 12 months at 0 interest. So that way when something closes, you want to thank a referral partner, you need something for a charity or an auction donation, you grab it, give it, love it, you're done. Don't have to think about it. Now, who in here would be open to doing gifting differently if I could get you better results? Say yes. Yeah, perfect. A lot of my agents are moving to a new way of doing gifting that has been transformational for their business. Most of them are not giving a gift at the closing table anymore because your clients don't have the emotional capacity to receive a gift at the table. They're stressed out. They have to sign 100 different papers. They're spending or receiving more money than they've ever spent or received in their entire life. Now they got something else they have to pack. So what I want you to imagine is a new way of gifting where maybe you give them a handshake and a thank you note and you say, hey, keep your eye open. I have something being custom made for you. And then 30 days later, once your client has had time to settle in, a box shows up and in it is a piece of Cutco. And engraved on it is handcrafted especially for the Jones family. And it has your branding on it too. But then it comes with a handwritten thank you note that goes, hey, Susie, thank you so much for the opportunity to work with you. I don't know if you're familiar with Cutco, but it's guaranteed forever. And I want you to know that I will be forever at your fingertips for all your real estate needs. P.S. Give me a call so that I know you got this. Show of hands, would it be of value if every single one of your clients called you 30 days after the transaction? Yeah? For you? My agents have been getting a crazy amount of 5-star reviews and referrals because they just use a simple script like, hey, Susie, you got it? Awesome. How does it look? Have you used it yet? Have you cut yourself yet? Just kidding. But then it's, hey, Susie, I'm sure over the past 30 days you've been showing the home off to everyone. Who else mentioned that they're looking to buy or sell? All right, so I want to let you guys get on to the next thing. Our gifts go between $50 and $300. So once again, where you're currently spending on your gifts. And then I really like to appreciate my people who take action on something that they know is going to be impactful for their business. So I'm going to pass around these order forms. And for the first 7 people who fill this out and bring it to the back table to get started, I'm going to buy you $150 worth of Cutco. So once again, the first 7 that fill it out, bring it back, will help you get started with. I'll buy you $150 worth of Cutco. Thank you guys so much for your time. The end.
Thank you. Client gifts at your fingertips. I love that. All right. So our next set of speakers will be not only myself, but 2 of my closest friends in the business, my 2 partners in crime and partners in business. So before we bring them up, we have my amazing husband and Patrick and Ryan that are moving around the stage here. So I'm actually going to share a little bit more about myself. I'm going to intro myself first. Oh, the chairs are ready, so I'm going to intro my friends. So for this fantastic panel, which will actually be a live recording of our Dream Lifestyles podcast, where we actually help agents create their dream life through real estate. I'm going to first introduce Dana Flanagan. She's an accomplished realtor with over 20 years in the business. She's been recognized as top producer year after year, as ranked one of the top 1,000 realtors in the country by the Wall Street Journal. She's licensed in 3 states. She prides herself on not only helping buyers and sellers, but helping agents get to the next level of their business by providing personal support, mentorship, and coaching. Welcome, Dana. Woo! Next, we have Felicia Beltran. She has been a realtor for 15 years now, has proved herself as a top producer. As soon as she got into the business, she was noted as Rookie of the Year, Salesperson of the Year, Top 250 Latino Agent, Top 100 America's Best Agent, Residential Broker of the Year, and RE/MAX. And she let me say that she is my spicy, badass Latina boo. So, Felicia, welcome to the stage. So just in case you guys are getting a little fatigued, get ready. We're about to have a lot of fun. And then I will, I guess, introduce myself. Cool. So as I mentioned, I've been doing this for 10 years. I love this industry. I love giving back to the industry. Last year, I was president of my local association with over 5,500 members. I'm currently vice president of Connecticut Association of Realtors. Again, I love this industry. I love this business. I was Realtor Magazine's 30 Under 30 in 2019. And if anyone has any interest in any volunteerism or anything, I'm your girl. I'm happy to introduce you to it. Happy to help you, do your 30 Under 30 application, whatever you guys are looking to do. I'm so super happy to support. And of course, I coach with Ricky Carruth at 0 to Diamond. And I love the synergy we have. So with that, let's get into our podcast.
Great intro. Don't you love the energy here?
My Latina friend.
That's right. We got to keep it spicy.
Spicy, spicy. All right, guys. So in our podcast, again, Dream Lifestyles, it's all about helping agents create their dream life through real estate. So now, I guess we have to start from the beginning. For me, I just mentioned to you guys that I got Realtor Magazine's 30 Under 30 a few years ago. And I thought at that point, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's great. I'm so successful. But I was successful on paper. My life absolutely sucked. I was like, when's it gonna get better? There was no light at the end of the tunnel. I was working so hard. I was about to face burnout. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Here I am, successful on paper, but I'm not leading a successful life. It's 7 p.m. and I haven't had lunch or breakfast, never mind dinner. I'm running ragged. I mean, can anyone relate to that? Right? So this is a business. That's a little bit of my story, okay? And before we talk about why we're coming together to help agents in this manner, to hold the space for them, I think it's important for us to each share kind of either what we've seen, like, let's talk about it, right? So many agents that are running ragged.
Right. So my story is so similar and yet so different. I'm actually a local agent in Pueblo, Colorado. So hello to everybody who's native here. I actually started in the business at the end of 2006, right before the market crashed, and I had a stellar first year. As soon as I got into the business, I hit the ground running, and I made 6 figures right off the bat. So I was on my way. But what I learned real quickly is that if you don't create life balance, there is no life balance. And so I went 6 years of that hardcore, grind and never took a vacation. I missed a lot of my kids', games. I, at the time, had, 4 children. And it was just constant. I was, running between appointments and chasing buyers and chasing kids. And I told people, I must be certifiably crazy to have all these kids and be in real estate. That's a hard thing to do when you're raising a family and then you're trying to cultivate, a successful business. You learn very, very quickly that the burnout comes right after. So I had to kind of figure out what worked for me, and I feel like, that's the value that I bring to this group because we're all so diverse, is, I've achieved that life balance. I've built a very successful business, and I feel like I got a grasp on that life balance, so I try to impart as much of that wisdom as I can to other people.
Love it.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I look at this as a lifestyle. It's hard when people have a previous job and you work in like the corporate world this is not a job, this is a lifestyle because it's all day, every day, and you're always thinking about it. You're always making relationships, you're always growing your business, you're always thinking about the next thing that you want to do. And so you can't really shut it off. And what happened to me early on in my career was kind of the same thing. It was almost like I felt like I was playing hooky if I wasn't working. And I felt guilty doing the things that I love to do. I felt guilty taking a day to go skiing. I felt guilty when I, went and had like a girls' night somewhere or whatever it is. And I didn't want to live like that anymore. And what I did is what Juan was talking about earlier was I implemented leverage. And the first thing that I did was I got a showing agent. And that changed my life as far as not having to run around with buyers as much anymore, being able to give myself some of that time back, and getting somebody in place to kind of help with the things that really took a lot of time away from prospecting and being in front of the client. So I think, it's really important to still try to maintain a good lifestyle. That's what it's all about. What are you doing it for if you're not enjoying your life and it becomes a chore for you? You're not going to be your best self for your clients, for your family, for your spouse, whatever it is, whatever's important to you. So I've really made this about a lifestyle for myself, and I travel a lot. I have licenses, a team in Florida, a team in Connecticut, and a very small team in Vermont. And I'm back and forth all the time, and I have a lot of activities, and I want to enjoy those and not feel guilty that I'm not looking at my phone every second. It's hard to do in this business.
I have a question. So we call that the aha moment, when you figure out that, this is just not working. Something has to change or nothing changes. And so I would ask you, when was the moment when you realized it was like, okay, I want to do these activities and I just need the leverage. So was there a point in time where it was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is definitely the route that I need to go so I can live my best life?
Yeah, I was stuck in, and I had a conversation with another agent about this very recently that's a newer agent. I was stuck in the mentality that my clients wanted to see me. They wanted to see me. I couldn't send anybody else to a showing. I couldn't send anybody else to a home inspection. I needed to go put the lockbox on the house. And I was stuck in that mentality that they wouldn't be happy with anybody else going besides me. And that's the expectation that you set for your client in advance. That's the expectation you set for yourself in advance.
True.
So when you train somebody to work with you, whether it's a buyer's agent, assistant, showing agent, whatever it is, you're training them to do business the way that you do business. But it's not only training somebody that works with you or for you or however you want to say it, it's training your client to know that this is how we do things and setting the expectation in advance. When you say, this is what's going to happen next, and this is so-and-so who works with me, the clients are fine with it. It's that limiting belief that you set in your mind that they only want to see you, which is keeping you from doing the things that you love. Or getting more business. I mean, it's really, you have to think about what your time is worth.
1,000%. And before we talk about what we've now created as our individually, we each have our own dream of what we want for our lifestyle. Before we get into it, I love that question, Felicia. Did you have an aha moment?
I remember not taking a vacation for the first 6 years of being in real estate, literally chasing every lead that came my way and running out on holidays and, just kind of neglect self. There wasn't a lot of self-care going on. Obviously, when you're a mom, you put everybody first. And I remember that my husband at the time, he had all this vacation time to burn. It was use it or lose it. And we just planned a ton of vacations, and I thought, man, this is it. I had this limiting belief that, if I stepped away from my business, that things would fall apart. Well, actually, I had my best year in real estate. And it was at that point that I realized that when I gave to myself, when I, rewarded myself for those, hard earned, vacations, that my business actually accelerated. That when I knew that I had another trip coming along, that I was actually more efficient. And that for me was very powerful. I think that I've, implemented that into my life now. I don't live for, 10 years, 20 years down the road for retirement, like that old school mentality. But I feel like I'm truly living my dream lifestyle because it doesn't matter where I go. I don't even have to think about it. If we did how many conferences last year,
I know, yeah.
Connecticut, Tennessee, Alabama, it doesn't matter. I don't have to say no in order to keep my business going. And if you're an agent who doesn't have a team and doesn't have that leverage implemented, just remember that there's always people that are looking to do more business, and you can reach out to them. We're happy to pay somebody a referral fee in another to take care of people that we know who trust us with their business, but we won't step away to go do what's good for us.
Right.
It makes no sense. We have to get that mindset changed.
I love that. And before we get into kind of like, how people can achieve their dream lifestyle in real estate, I will share my aha moment. It's funny, that question is so good. Raise your hand if you guys have had an aha moment. You're like, I need to make a change, like something needs to change, right? Let's be real, like we all have those days. It's like the compound effect, right? Like Ricky always says, we'll get 1% better every day. If you're not focused on something, sometimes you get 1% worse every day. So my aha moment, oh my gosh. So my aha moment, my voice is raspy. It's always been raspy. I talk all the time. I just love connecting, blah, blah. But it came a point a few years back, like I said, I had accomplished that, 30 to 30. But right at that time, my voice gave out. I would be talking. I would never be able to do this. I would be talking. I would never be able to be on stage emceeing. My voice would cut. I would be talking to clients, negotiating with other agents, leading the boardroom, leading my networking groups, and my voice would cut. I'm like, what is going on? So literally, although I knew I was like, go, 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 my body actually was like, slow your roll, girlfriend. So that actually made me be like, okay, I'm like, Mom, I work with my mom, like, Mom, what am I gonna do? So I did not delegate and elevate until I had to, right? So let's talk about how agents can delegate and elevate and surround themselves with other like-minded individuals. And really, it's all about who you hang out with, right? If you want to be one of the best, you need to hang with the best and learn positive habits and learn different ways of doing things.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you losing your voice, actually, that's pretty literal when it comes to real estate. Listen, everybody has to find their voice. Everybody has to find their value proposition, because if you don't know what you stand for and you don't know what your value is, don't expect your clients to. You're worried about asking them to sign the buyer agency agreement. You don't think you deserve that listing. I promise you, you won't get it. And so we all have to kind of find our voice and find our value. And I just think that it's amazing, that somebody as young as you learned that, it took me a long time to figure that out, how to create those boundaries in my business and how to delegate, because I'm such a control freak. I know nobody can relate to that.
Right, well, we're all like A-type control freak type of personalities.
No, you don't say.
Why is real estate different than any other industry when you think about it? You go to a dentist office or a doctor's office, you usually have somebody that, checks you in at the front desk, and then you have, somebody that comes out between the dentist and the doctor. And we don't think anything of it. We're not like, oh, why isn't the doctor standing at the front desk? But why is it in this industry that like a client will say, oh, well, you're gonna not be here for every single showing, or, and I use that analogy. I say any other business runs, this is a business, we run like anything else. You don't go into a doctor's office and the doctor is checking you in at the front desk. Why is this any different? For some reason, real estate is just kind of like a free-for-all, and there's no structure unless you create that structure in your business. And there's a lot of people running around trying to do everything, and when you try to do everything, you do nothing well.
So true. It's so true. And that's why, listen, coming together, I've known Dana for several years. I've known Felicia for several years. And we live in such a unique time. Think about it. Most of us are here because you know Ricky, and you were touched by his content, and maybe his content changed your life. With technology, realize that you can pick your tribe, and it doesn't have to be your local tribe, right? You can pick the people that you want to spend time with and collaborate with. And that is what gets us going, like collaborating, paying it forward. We consult with any agents completely for free to share. Like, we want to hear what you guys are doing in your business. Because listen, maybe you haven't had an aha moment, but maybe you're realizing, oh geez, I missed my kid's game, and oh geez, I'm negotiating an offer in the closet because I should be at a family party, I should be present. Like, been there, done that, right? So we are just trying to hold space for people to have this conversation because there's such a demand of like, grow, get larger, what's the next level? Sometimes the next level is different for everybody. It doesn't necessarily mean
taking a
growth.
step back.
Right, and taking a step back, it's not a bad thing, right? It's like 30,000 foot view. Do you want to be right there in the trenches each and every day? Or do you want to kind of rise above a little bit, see the full picture? That's what we're here for. We don't know it all, but we've seen a lot. We have so many agents in our network because we're highly networked individuals. Your network is your net worth, right? We go to every international conference because we love meeting other agents, sharing referrals, and just trying to raise the bar in real estate together, but raise the quality of life of the individual realtor and help them implement great habits.
Yeah, I mean, what are we talking about? Your tribe, your people, who are you aligned with? You know, if you're seeking to be at a higher level, you better surround yourself with people who are at that level or above, because otherwise you're just flocking with, what do they call that? You're either soaring with eagles or flocking with chickens.
I've never heard that, but that's a good one.
And anybody who won't share their wisdom with you, you know what? That means that they're not confident enough in their abilities and they're worried about what you're doing. Go find some other people, It's not a secret. What you have to do is you have to find people who you align with. I mean, I'm here locally in Pueblo, Colorado, right? And when I travel to different states and I'm having this conversation, it's funny how some of my best friends and the people that I'm associated with in business with, they're not even from here. And they call me more than the people that, I talk to locally. Hi, how are you doing? How's your business? What can we do? We do these masterminds. We travel through all, ends of the country, and it's empowering. And I think that that's really what the Dream Lifestyle brand and organization is all about. It's about, who wants to be on this journey with us? How can we help you to elevate your business, And we're free to share, everything that we have with you. How many people do you know in your office that you can't even ask them a question? I've been in multiple brokerages. I've been an independent, broker, and I can tell you that there is value in being surrounded by people who are doing things at a higher level. So I would just, challenge everybody to kind of look at your circle, see where you're sitting, and maybe you need to make a move. Maybe you need some change in your life. Don't be afraid of that, because you know what? There's bridges everywhere that'll get you to your next level of life, your next stage of success.
I love it. Let's just touch upon it. We only have like another minute left. Dana, what is your dream lifestyle right now?
Well, I feel like I'm already living it.
I know.
I mean, I travel all the time. We are constantly skiing or doing things that we like that are hobbies that take a little bit longer. They're not just like an hour-long hobby. Golf, skiing, wakeboarding are all things that take up a good part of your day. Helping other agents achieve their dream life and being able to pay forward what I've learned, because there was a long time early on that I was not doing it right. And we didn't have the resources that we have now back when I started doing this 20 years ago. It really just is who you surround yourself with. You'll find, that your circle will change as you elevate. If you're not elevating or leveling up, your circle will stay the same. And there's a lot of people that I am still I still know them, but I'm not really friends with them, that are big complainers. Oh, I'm too busy and my life sucks and I can't go to this and I can't go to that. And they've been doing it for 25 years. And I was like, I do not want to be like that. I do not want to be 50 years old, or even at the time 40 years old, doing that. So I said, I need to make a change. And I want to be able to go do whatever I want, whenever I want, and still have a really successful business.
And it is possible, guys. Dana does a tremendous amount of business, so I highly recommend you guys try to connect with her. Felicia, what's your dream lifestyle, girlfriend?
Man, I'm living it. I'm up here on stage. I'm hanging out with my besties. I'm traveling. I'm watching my kids flourish. My son just moved here to Denver from Fort Collins, and it was a beautiful thing to be able to just, help him with his deposit. And, my kids, they are very responsible, and they're very, well-adjusted children. And the fact that I have the means to help them to get to their next level of life and inspire and mentor other people, I love that. I think that real estate is merely a vehicle to really do what I'm passionate about, and that's helping other people achieve their best life.
Amen,
That's it.
sister.
So true.
So mine is obviously, we're very aligned. Come on, girls, right? I love freedom because for so long I felt so shackled to the desk, right? Like for so long, I felt like if I'm not doing it, no one can help me. Like no one does it the way I do. Like literally I had zero life, zero hobbies, like zero voice. And now it's like sometimes you have to hit bottom to like realize what you can actually have in this business. I'm so grateful because I really feel like I'm living the life I love while I'm creating the life of my dreams. And for me, that means freedom, right? Freedom to be able to help my clients. I fill my cup up so I can help them to the highest level. And freedom to have freedom of location, which I have a team now. So I'm able to have that location freedom, freedom of time. So now, listen, maybe I want to have kids someday, or maybe I want to be able to go to these events and stuff. For so long, I felt like there's no way I can have kids. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to leave my desk or not open up every door for my clients. There is a way. When there's a will, there's a way. And we have a plan that works if you work it. And we're just so grateful to be able to come together and to provide this platform for you guys. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Dream Lifestyles.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. So fun. Sister? That was great. Our timer went off, so we had to just cut it right off, you know? But we really appreciate you guys listening. Awesome. And if you guys want to check out any of our other episodes, feel free to check us on Dream Lifestyles. The link to it is in my bio. You could definitely hit us up. And we're just super excited. So, all right. So next up, I'm going to be introducing Keith Lucas, who will be presenting on attracting business through the power of video. So, Keith is a 21-year veteran and multi-award winner realtor. He's a former broker-owner of brokerages in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. He's a past member of the Southwest Florida Realtor Governance and past chairman of the largest MLS in Southwest Florida. He's been a real estate coach, trainer, and speaker for over 15 years. He's the creator and founder of YouTube for Real Estate Bosses. He is also the host of Exploring the Holy City, the #1 video series. And he's also a pretty awesome guy. Welcome to the stage, Keith Lucas.
There we go. How y'all doing? Hello, Denver. I'm dressed this warm because I'm from South Carolina. Yeah, it's freezing. And you all are used to this. I was just out back. I saw a bunch of girls out there playing lacrosse in shorts. I can't believe it. I'm like, no way. But anyway, thank you very much for the warm welcome. I appreciate it. And, you know, my dad is a great guy. He always told me, he said, Keith, when one door closes, another door will open. I'm like, yeah, I know, I got it. He's like, no, you don't get it. When one door closes, another one will open. And my dad's a really great guy, but he's a terrible broker. He really is a bad cabinet maker. That might work even better. I have one mic on me, you can't see it, but anyway. So yeah, if you didn't hear me, my dad's a terrible cabinet maker. And what I'd like to do today is actually 3 different things with you all, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at YouTube and some of the amazing things that are going on in YouTube right now in the world, not just here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go down the road a little bit, and I'm going to give you a couple power tips for YouTube, and then I'm going to actually ask you to do me a favor, if you all would be kind enough to do that, okay? So let's start off with some of what's going on in YouTube these days, because YouTube is a pretty awesome thing that's taking place. And a lot of people confuse YouTube as a social media platform, and it's not. It's absolutely not that. If you don't know it, they're owned by Google. Google owns them, and those are the two biggest search engines in the entire world, okay? So let's take a look at this, okay? People watch an average of 18 hours every single week online, okay? YouTube attracts more 18 to 49-year-olds than cable altogether. More than 1 billion hours, 1 billion hours, that's a B, okay, are consumed on YouTube every day. Let's do the math. I did it for you, okay? That's over 40 million days, okay? 40 million days a day. That's what's consumed, or over 100,000 years. It's incredible. That's amazing. That's not social, okay? That's people searching for answers. They're searching for information, okay? Let's take it kind of by the numbers. 500 hours are uploaded every minute worldwide. That's 30,000 hours, uploaded every hour, okay? And if we take it a little bit closer look, that's 720,000 uploaded every day to YouTube. That's a lot of content. That's a lot of people with phones. I see some of you right now taking your phones out and doing some video. It's amazing. Hopefully you'll get it onto YouTube. YouTube has these two, which are really one and the same, scared to death, okay? So scared that Instagram is now going video first. They announced this about 4 or 5 months ago, okay? So if you start putting pictures up there, you get put to the bottom, okay? You get put to the bottom. If you start putting in videos, you'll go right to the top. Facebook, and look at this, Mark Zuckerberg. Everybody knows this guy, right? 5 years ago, we're now 6 years. 5 years ago, he predicted that the majority of Facebook will be videos. Every time you go on there, now you see a video, right? That's what's happening. YouTube has these guys running scared. And there's a lot of reasons why I get agents don't do video, okay? Not just YouTube, but they just don't do video. Like, they don't have the time. They don't know how to do it. Or they're afraid what they'll look like or sound like when they do a video. And there's a lot of other reasons, and we'll get into those in just a minute. But one thing that I want to explain to you, has anyone ever seen this term before? Does anybody know what it means? Okay. This is what happens when someone starts to follow you on your videos, whichever platform it happens to be. It even happens in television, it even happens in movies, right? But this is actually a phenomenon. It's when you start to develop a sense of friendship or identification with that person, and it even goes as far as intimacy. You feel like you know them. So if you were walking down the street and you ran into that person that you've been watching on video, you had subscribed to their channel, and you see them, you would feel like you knew them. You would walk up to them and that you shared life with them. And they have no idea who you are. But this is a true phenomenon. And let me get this going. What happens through this process is that they get to start to know you, right? We're going right down coaching 101. They get to start to know you, they start to like you, and then they start to trust you. And that's all parasocial. That's what it does. That's why when people meet you through video, they feel very comfortable to speak to you about just about anything, and when it comes time for them to speak about real estate to you, it lowers that threshold down. They can feel very comfortable talking to you about it because they feel they know you. They already trust you. You've done the work, okay? We know that once they start to have that conversation, one thing happens. We all want more conversations because what do conversations do? They lead to contracts, right? The more conversations you have, just like what Juan was talking about earlier, just what Matt was talking about earlier, all of those phone calls, all of those touches, what you're doing is creating conversations. The more you have, the more likelihood it will lead to a contract. So we're going to just take a little detour right now and give you a pro tip. Who here is doing YouTube right now? Anybody? Okay. Is anybody promoting their channel? Okay. So what I would like you to do, if you do have a channel and you're not promoting it, it's very simple. This is called a snippet, okay? And you take this snippet and you put it at the end of your channel. And it doesn't have to be a custom channel, which means that you have over 100 subscribers and you can make a custom URL for it. This can be for any channel with any amount of subscribers. But you can put this everywhere. You can put it in your email address. You can actually make it into a bit.ly so people don't really know what it is. You can put it into your signatures. You can put it every place that you could possibly put your branding. You can put this. And this is what it will look like when they click on it. Who wants to increase their number of subscribers to their channel in a very simple way? This is it. That's what will come up when they click on that link. They now have a choice, a 50-50 choice of selecting your channel to subscribe to, okay? If they've already clicked it, there's a reason why they clicked it. It's because they like what they are seeing or what they've read or heard, okay? So let's go to power tip number 2. And this one's pretty cool as well. Who wants to increase the number of views of your videos? Anybody here? Okay, this is great. So there's a term that we use in YouTube. It's called above the fold. And above the fold is an area that shows up for the description, but it's only about 2 to 3 sentences long. And then you'll see what always says, show more. That's the fold right there. So if you write one sentence that's engaging in your description, and then put a link to the next video you want them to watch, you can see right here, proof in the pudding, pros and cons of living in Charleston, South Carolina, 66.7%. I got that number right? 66.7% have clicked on that to watch the video, okay? From watching one of my previous videos. 66%. That's an incredible amount of drive to any video you want, any video in your entire library, okay? You can send them anywhere. Don't send them off your channel. Keep them on your channel, send them to your own, right? So this is something that I hear a whole lot. And really nothing could be further from the truth, I have to really tell you. YouTube is not saturated. You might hear all those numbers where you've got 1 billion hours, 500 hours being uploaded. Here's the real deal. It's not saturated. Nowhere near it. Okay? Google, YouTube, and the algorithm are dying for your content. They love new content, okay? Especially if you're new. The reality is, and a lot of people will say this, a lot of agents will say this, they'll say, why should I do this? It's saturated, and people will make fun of me, I'll be wasting my time, and that could be, there's nothing further from the truth than that. People don't care what you're doing out there, okay? The only time they care is when you're doing something good, and then they become envious of what you're doing, okay? You're unique. You're one of a kind. There's no one else like you. You have your story. YouTube wants to hear your story. People want to hear your story. They want to hear what you have to say. Okay? It's time for you, if you don't have a channel, to create a channel, get out there, start delivering your content to them, And you will develop your followers, which will then turn into subscribers, which will then turn into what happens? It turns into contracts. Okay? So it's not saturated. You are so unique. Bring your unique story to YouTube. Okay? Now, I want to ask you guys, well, a favor, but before I do that, I'll give you a gift. I've been doing YouTube for a really long time, and I've discovered a few other secrets along the way. One of those secrets I actually put into a book, okay? And I would like to give you that book. Would anyone here like that book? The name of the book is called How I Make $60 a Minute. $60 a minute doing videos, okay? Anybody else here make $60 a minute doing anything? Okay. It's a short book. It's only about 15 pages because there's only 3 simple steps to it. So if you all want it, take out your phones. And go to YouTube for Real Estate Bosses. Oh, it says 0 down here. Is that like broken? Okay, go there, and you'll be able to sign up there, put your information in there, and I will deliver that book to you digitally. It'll be sent right to your email. You'll get that in a couple minutes. You'll get a confirmation, and you'll get the book. One of the other things I'd like you to do, too, is because I've created, and by the way, that's what the digital cover looks like. I need your help. I mentioned that just a minute ago. Because I have a program called YouTube for Real Estate Bosses. And we're currently in our first ramp-up program, but I need to refine that program. I need to interview, I need to speak to more real estate agents. So, would anyone here like to be interviewed? Okay. Just, I need at least 20, more maximum 20. But if you would, go to that web address I just gave you, YouTubeforRealEstateBosses.com. You can sign up there. And I will be in touch with you within the next 48 hours. You might hear from me over the weekend. Okay? I'll give you a second to put it in there. Okay, well, listen, folks. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk to you about YouTube for Real Estate Bosses, about YouTube, about what's going on out there in the world. I want to see all your smiling faces out there on your own channels. Let me know. And if you want some inside scoop, reach out to me. I'm available anytime, okay? Thank you so much. Appreciate you all.
Thank you. Thanks, Keith. All righty. So next up, we have Joe Sinnona for a lifetime of sales. So Joe Sinnona is owner of Sinnona Speaks Seminars and is a licensed NYS, New York State associate broker who is still actively selling in his home market of Long Beach, New York. His sales career began at age 10, believe it or not, when he would sell people's junk on street corners. Joe graduated from Manhattan College, Bronx, New York, with a degree in English and education. He took a leave of absence for teaching in the New York City public schools, became a realtor 30 plus years ago, shortly thereafter to return as a Department of State instructor. With a teaching background, he brings to the classroom a dynamic way of lecturing through the power of story, telling, and role play inclusion. Joe is part-time faculty instructor for Hofstra University in New York, and he has successfully taught and mentored top producing practitioners through the country. He has several designations, a lot of acronyms there, and many certifications. Welcome to the stage, Joe.
Two roads diverge into a wood, and I took the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. You've heard that poem before, Robert Frost. How many of that one single road that led them to a fork, and have decided to take the right lane or the left lane of their life. 33 years ago, and I would never have imagined being on a stage here in Denver talking about my life, 33 years in sales. 33 years later, after taking that road, what Alexa didn't tell you was that I got kicked out because that was not my road. So I was asked to take a leave of absence or never to return to teaching. And I said to myself, that isn't it. That's not the life that I want. That is not the end of Joe Sinnona. Joe Sinnona's career has just begun. And I was doing real estate as a part-timer. And as a part-timer, I want you to know, I hated it. I absolutely hated every moment of real estate. From open houses to dragging buyers who never thought or never knew what they were buying. You have to lead your buyer sometimes to that one perfect sale and have to create an imagination for them because otherwise they don't have it. And I hated this part. I hated it so much that I felt like giving up. William Patrick's story of never giving up is such an inspirational story, right? Well, I sat in an open house and I said to myself, self, either you make a real estate career of this or you give up and go to do something else. And that's after getting kicked out of the New York City Board of Ed. So I decided this was the time to really buckle down, but I did not know what to do. One night, at around 11:30, I'm watching an old episode of a black and white comedy called The Honeymooners. And in that episode, I remember the character of Ed Norton getting laid off. And he says to his wife, I hate this because I want to do what I am passionate about. He didn't say it that quite eloquent, but he said he was going to sell irons for a living. So she says to him, well, have you sold anything? And he says, yes, I've sold one iron, Trixie. She goes, oh, that's great. You sold one iron. So what did you say that made that difference? He says, Mommy, you just have to buy an iron for me. And then she says, oh my God, you sold an iron to my mother? He says, no, Trixie, I sold an iron to my mother. Tomorrow it's your mother. So I got the idea of going door to door from that one episode. And I started to go door to door, and I says, I gotta go door to door with my business card. But something is missing. Something is knocking me down or discouraging me from going door to door. There's a lot of fear behind that, right? So I'm watching my nephew color a coloring book of Captain America. And I see this big, strong hero of Captain America. And I see the shield, you know, he's like this. And I go, wait a minute, I'm going to make a copy of this. I says, I'm going to cut a picture of myself off from my business card and stamp it on Captain America's muscular body. Don't I have a muscular body? And in the shield, I put a house. And at the time, we had 600 houses for sale in my community. 600 houses. That's a buyer's market. And I said, when it comes, I wrote on the flyer, when it comes to buying, selling, or renting in real estate, let Joe Sinnona be your super agent. And I peddled that throughout every single home in my community. I hit over 1,000 homes and made relationships with more, I don't want to say it, I'll say it, I'm from Brooklyn, old ladies, as I was going door to door. And they would take me in the middle of winter. And they felt sorry for me. And they said, come in, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee. I tell you, I went on more bathroom trips in that whole week than I ever had in my entire life. And I said, is this real estate? Is this what it takes? And I started to establish relationships with the old ladies. And if you know anything about older women, they love to play mahjong and gossip. They love to sit there and refer the first made an impression on them. And I had a knack. I followed my intuition, if you call it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep going. And I never gave up. I went door to door from the month of December right through March. And by spring, I was the top listing agent of my company. In 3 weeks' time, I listed more than 14 homes. And I still didn't know what I was doing. As a part-timer turned full-timer, I said to myself, this is the road less traveled. It sucks. I got to do something about this. You know where my CRM was? Right here. You know where all those names of all those people were? Right here. Didn't have a plan, but became the top listing agent of my company in less than 6 months. Speed it up. I owned my company for 10 years. If that isn't challenging to own your own business and wake up with the voices in your head at 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what it is. And you know what the voices in your head kept saying, Joe? Pay the bill, pay this bill, pay that bill, pay this bill. For those of you who want to get into your own real estate business as a broker, don't do it. Trust me, don't do it. The road less traveled is not the road that you take to fail. The road less traveled is the road you take to pass, to win. Nobody's going to pat you on the back. You got to take your hand like this, and you got to pat yourself on the back. And when everybody tells you no, and when everybody tells you what to do, and where to go, and how to get there, you take this hand like this. I'm Italian. And you put it under your chin, and you go, forget you. Is that good enough advice? I'm from Brooklyn. This is the way we talk. This is how we speak. This is how we roll. We tell the truth. Don't make up with your clients. You know why? Because if you make that up with your clients are going to sense that you're not genuine and you're not authentic. A lifetime of sales does not begin with a lifetime of BS. You cannot do that to your clientele. Let's talk about designations. Alexa mentioned that I have designations. If you want to specialize in listings, then why aren't you putting professional development into your work? SRS, Sellers Representative Specialist, and SRES. Those are the two designations I recommend for anyone here who is willing and ready to become a listing agent. There's no excuse for not putting professional development into your work. And everybody says, well, I want continuing ed. Let's see, professional development plus continuing ed equals one great real estate agent. Buyer's agent, why don't you have an ABR? It takes time. You know what? Put in the time. The investment is real. ABR, accredited buyer representative. I have them. I got to tell you that if I had these tools 33 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here with you today. I'd be retired in Aruba. 33 years ago, and I'm looking out at a sea of a lot of young people. I was 19 when I got into the business, with no tools but my imagination. When we are little, think about it. We play with Legos, we use our imagination, and then sometimes, as you get older, you start to lose that creativity. Don't lose it. Get creative this year. Put that professional development to your work. Sort out a good CRM. Juan, my business partner, takes it to another level. If that's your speed, you go that speed. If you go the William Patrick speed, you go the William Patrick speed. If you go podcast way or video, you do that. But you be the best at your craft, and don't let anyone take down your dream. You are and have what my friend Les Brown says, you have greatness within you, and it's possible. I love those two quotes. Those two quotes sustained me all throughout my career. Now, life isn't ended. Life has just begun. I'm redefining my career with my team, I have the team of 12 apostles, I call them. For those of you who are Catholic, you get that. For those of you who are not Catholic, I have a team. But I have a dream as well. And the dream is to make that team grow, flourish, and then pass on a legacy of all my teachings in them. And it's working. So if you have a team or you're part of a team, stay with your team leader. Your team leader sets the tone for the rest of that team. If you're a solo agent and you say to me, I'm struggling, you know what? So are we all. Listen, I'm going to always be here to give you the penicillin before the lollipop. I tell that to all my people. I tell that to all my sellers. And I go, if you don't want to list with me, that's fine. You know how many other realtors are behind me that want this listing because they're desperate? And I don't act desperate. Whenever a customer comes to my door, I say either you're a client or you're nothing to me. If they don't sign on with you, if the seller doesn't sign on with you, if the seller says, take my listing $60,000, $100,000 overpriced, I'm sorry, but you asked me to sell your home, right? Not list it. Walk away. The road less traveled, you will get exactly what you put into it. We've heard that message all throughout. And I want to compliment those of you who didn't get up to go to the bathroom during my speech. All right, so you didn't have an accident over here. Thank you. Guys, it's very simple. The relationships that you build over a lifetime, or even in the shortest amount of time that you do this business, are going to be relationships that last for a long time. They will repeat. They will give you back the ROI that you're looking for. There's a lot of you that want that quick ladder to success. There is no quick ladder. I got news for you. It starts at the bottom, and it goes to the top, and then along the way, as you're stepping up to the top, you fall. Somebody pushes you off. Everyone loves to throw stones at a tree loaded with fruit when you make it. Remember that. So when you make it, be humble. Give back to your communities. Volunteer. Do something to empower another human being. Don't look at all of us in this room as competitors. Look at us as colleagues. It's time that we all work together. It's time that we share information. We've all shared it here today. Let this be lights, many other lights. And together, let's leave a legacy and a lifetime of sales. Thank you.
Joe, you are such a good speaker and a comedian. That was incredible. Give it up for Joe. Felicia wanted me to tell you that you're a fun guy. All right. So guys, next you have a treat. We're going to do a really fun panel called ZTD MVPs. So I'm going to read off the gentlemen that'll be joining us here on stage. And because they don't have chairs, they're just going to bring their own. That's how we roll. All right. So first up, we have, oh, they just did it. All right. Yes, they're doing such a great job of lining up underneath their slide like I instructed them to do. So left to right, we have Sam Schwartz, Austin Hartley, Tanner Schmidt, Ryan DeLello, and David Larite. Welcome, guys. Thanks. So I'm going to get out of the way a little bit here. So you guys have been doing such a great, sure, please do.
We couldn't see you when you were up here.
Oh, goodness. Oh. better late than never, you know? One of our last panels, might as well just reorganize. All right, so these guys have had tremendous success with the Zero to Diamond program, and they're each gonna be sharing a little bit about what they've learned and their experiences and their story. David, kick it off.
How are you? Thanks for coming out today. We really appreciate it. My name is Dave Lorette. I'm a local real estate agent here. I live down in Castle Rock, Colorado. I was in corporate finance and accounting for 20 years, and then one day I woke up and didn't have a job and decided to create my own future. Rather than working for someone else, I decided to become a real estate agent. And the first year, I think I sold 3 properties. And I took this program with a company called Bold, and I thought, Bold's gonna be great for me, man. I'm gonna make so much money, I'm gonna sell so many houses, and I sold 3. So I knew something was missing, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I was searching on the internet one day, and I came across this, actually it was on Facebook, I saw this guy named Ricky Carruth, and he's talking about cold calling. I'm like, I did cold calling with Bold, it didn't work. So I kind of dismissed it. And then I watched one of his videos, and this was in October of 2019. And I immediately implemented his weekly email and started making phone calls. When COVID hit in March of 2020, I had nothing to do but make phone calls, and everyone was home. So I called every single day, got tons of people in my database, and that year I made the first 6 figures I'd made since I'd left corporate America. So, and I really I owe everything in my business to Ricky. He's a wonderful guy. He just gives this stuff to us for free, which is incredible to me. So you guys are in for a real treat when he comes up on the stage here in a little bit. Thank you, Ricky.
Thanks, David. Now to you, Ryan.
Hello, my name is Ryan DeLello. As many of you may know, I'm the youngest realtor here, which is a little intimidating. I'm a little nervous speaking right now, but so I started off my working career. I left high school, went to college for a year on a scholarship for Division I soccer. Decided it wasn't for me, and then got into the trades. So I love cars, became a mechanic. The money wasn't there. Got into construction, and during my time, working the blue-collar trades, my father passed away. So it was really tough. And then what I did was I realized at that moment in my life that I have to make something out of life, and every day is important and special. So I decided to get my real estate license, and during the time of being in the blue-collar trades, I was watching Ricky's videos, watching investors, and I just knew that it was something that I really wanted to take on. So I scheduled my license exam, got my real estate license, called Ricky the same day, and then Ricky handed me over to Alexa. He thought that we'd work really well together. And I met with Alexa, and you can ask her. I sat there and I said, when is an acceptable time to start cold calling? I want to get Red X now. Because I knew what potential was there with watching Ricky's videos. And she said tomorrow. So I started calling, and I mean like 7, 8 hours a day. 3 days in, got my first listing appointment. 4 or 5 days later, I signed a contract. And now we're 5 weeks in. Active contracts, I signed 2 before I got on the plane, listings, and 2 buyers. And then when I land, I should be signing, finalizing the paperwork for another 4 listings. Yep.
Give it up.
So I have Ricky and Alexa to thank for everything, hard work, and just giving it your all, really. So.
Love it. Thank you, Ryan. There you are, Tanner. Go for it.
Yeah, what's up, guys? My name's Tanner Schmidt. I'm a Colorado native. I grew up about an hour north of here in near Greeley, Colorado, on a farm. A lot of people, if you're from here, think Greeley smells bad, and so I'm glad that area has grown a lot because it's easier to tell people I'm from that area. But I love the farm life, and it's I'm a kind guy. Always been that way, just real country roots, you know. And when I first got into real estate, I honestly believed that I needed to be this cold-hearted killer in a suit, if I really wanted to make any money, right? And I think when my business partner first showed me a video from Ricky, I just saw, you know, how normal he dressed, and I like dressing comfy and I like dressing normal, and I think the quality of an agent is up here and not necessarily in how you dress, and so I liked that, seeing that from him, and then also just his kindness and genuinely wanting to help clients over making money, relationships over transactions, is really what sold me on him. You know, farm boy, like I'm not good at pressuring people, you know. So I just ran with it, and this past year, you know, Austin and I decided to make the switch over to commercial real estate, so we joined the EXP commercial, and we're working on a land development deal right now, and that's been taking up a lot of our time, so it's a relatively small land development compared to some, but it's about a $5 million deal, and that's honestly just frankly come from building relationships with people and walking around, and it's been an awesome start to the commercial side of our career for sure. So, yeah.
Thank you, Tanner. Give it up for Tanner. Austin.
Awesome, guys. So I'm originally born in Dallas, but grew up here in Colorado. Tanner and I actually played high school basketball against each other. So this guy was always blocking my shot, giving me a hard time. And we reconnected. I've been in real estate for a little over 5 years now. I've sold everything from multi-million-dollar land deals to homes, new construction to $50,000 mobile homes, and run the gambit. So I've had a lot of experiences, made tons of mistakes. When I first got in the industry, I was that young kid that was calling you every month asking if you knew anyone ready to buy or sell a house. That doesn't work very well. And I'm a huge extrovert, love to connect with people. I then joined the top grossing team in Denver, and just because you're top grossing and making a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean that you're making the biggest impact in the world. That team's training was focused on getting the appointment no matter what, getting that listing no matter what. It wasn't about serving that individual as a person. I couldn't sit with that as a person. When I knew for a fact it wasn't in their best interest to sell their house, when I knew for a fact that they were going through something that they weren't ready. So I ended up leaving that, and that left a dirty taste in my mouth. Went and got partnered with Tanner, and we have similar values, I think ethics and character that I really saw in Ricky. He's someone that just gives and gives and gives and gives value, wants to help for free. He does that with his clients and with his coaching. He focuses on that formula, the fundamentals of prospecting, follow-up, having systems with the weekly email. Focus on the people. Focus on connecting with your tribe, people that you want to work with. I was going after these expireds and clients that honestly were a huge headache to work with. And I was also focused on residential real estate, working as an agent, which I knew wasn't my true passion. It was commercial. And I have to thank Ricky and Tanner for helping us transition into what we're truly passionate about, and I think we're really having a much larger impact. So I would just say, if you're just getting started in the industry or you're not happy with what you're doing, take a step back and visualize your goals, what you want your future life to be, and be committed for at least 5 years. I also host a podcast called Success Science. I've had tons of real estate syndicators, investors, business owners, and a common theme I heard from them is a rule: I won't do anything unless I'm committed for 3 to 5 years. And so I would just leave you with that. If you're passionate, take a step back, write down those goals of where you want to be, and be committed. So thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Last but not least, Sam.
Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Sam. I'm from Littleton, Colorado, and live in Longmont, Colorado now. And about just like 27 months ago, I was in the Peace Corps in Madagascar, and I was volunteering as a community health advisor and lived in a community of about 100 people and lived in a hut made with bamboo reed walls and a palm frond roof, and didn't have any running water, no electricity or power, and no one who actually spoke English within about 25 miles of me. And it was here that I really learned like the value of creating relationships with people by investing time with them and really getting to know them and how to best serve them. And it was a totally perspective and life-changing experience. And that is until I got kicked out. And yeah, like kicked out of the Peace Corps, that can even happen. And they tell you during Peace Corps training there's really only 2 surefire ways to get kicked out. One is by riding a motorcycle, just for like liability issues or whatever, and the second is doing drugs. And the third is doing both at the same time. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do drugs, but I was riding on the back of a motorcycle with some friends, and somehow word got back to the Peace Corps, and long story short, I got kicked out. So I'm sitting in the Madagascar airport and rediscovering internet connection for the first time in months, and I'm just racking my brain, like bugging about what the heck I'm gonna do when I get back home. And like just 6 months before this, I had quit my job, broke up with my girlfriend, and prepared to be in Madagascar for the next like 2.5 years. And in one moment, or motorcycle ride for that matter, like my entire plans and life just changed forever. And I kept thinking like, what can I do as a real job to like connect with other people, serve others in this way that I was in the Peace Corps, and also this time like make some damn money. And so I'm in the airport like Googling sales jobs and stuff, and this leads me to YouTube videos about getting started in real estate, and that leads me to this guy named Ricky Carruth. And so I'm seeing this guy, he's this laid back, like Roll Tide, Alabama kind of guy, and he's talking all about creating relationships, helping people. And he just had a sense of integrity and hustle I could really feel and connect with. And so I get home, and like after watching these videos in the airport in Madagascar, like I just decide then and there, in a third world country where someone is literally making coffee over an open fire in the airport, that when I get back home to America, I'm just gonna go all in. All in for 2 years, these 2 unscheduled years that I now have, and just see what happens. So I get home, and then December 2019, get my license, sell my first house a few months later, and using Ricky's philosophy of creating relationships over transactions and all the zero to diamond coaching and training available, and having consistency with my weekly emails and my calls. I've sold over $15 million in real estate, helped well over 30 families buy and sell property, and actually getting ready to buy my own first house in a couple months, and it doesn't even have bamboo reed walls or a palm frond roof. So if you would have told me like 2.5 years ago, when I was sitting in the Madagascar airport, like freaking out about what the heck I'm gonna do with my life when I get back home, that I want you to go home, get your real estate license, sell a bunch of property, buy your own house, it would feel like looking up at Mount Everest and being like, all right, go ahead, get started. And to be honest, it's been a lot of hard work and dedication, but some of the most rewarding work of my life by far. And I've created some amazing relationships and friendships. And this is really what Zero to Diamond is all about. It's just about starting somewhere, anywhere, and just realizing you want more. You want to be more, you want to do more. And it's through this journey that shapes us into these higher versions of ourselves, the diamonds. And what I've found is the more I work on myself personally, the more my business grows. And like Jim Rohn said, become a millionaire, not for the $1 million, but for what it will make of you to achieve it. And for me, this means taking extreme personal ownership over my health, my business, my personal life, my spiritual life, and like Ricky says, just getting 1% better every single day. And so there's so many giants in real estate that have come before us. I was able to connect with Ricky, and the trajectory of my real estate career has forever been set higher because of him and Zero to Diamond. So just lean on the experience of others and collaborate and grow, and I'm here for you guys in any way that I can be. So please connect with me and tell me about your own journey so far. Thanks.
Awesome. Give it up for our Zero to Diamond MVPs. Great job, you guys. Great job. Thank you. Also the moving crew. Actually, David, we could put that. All right, guys. So before we bring out Ricky, I know you guys have learned so much today. So just know, again, your network is your net worth. That goes for clients. It goes for other agents. It's all about connecting with other legs. You heard from someone today, or maybe you met someone here in the audience that resonated with you. Connect with them. Reach out to them. Okay? That's what it's all about. 1 + 1 is 11. So before I bring out the big man, I'm thinking like, how should I introduce Ricky? Let me bring it back to the beginning round. And when it was his turn to talk, he goes, I'm here because I want to be the first ever free real estate coach. And literally you could hear a pin drop. Everyone's like, what do you mean? Like, how do you do that? There are no free coaches. Like, what does this even mean? And he went on to say how, he became a millionaire by the time he was 23, lost it all when the market crashed, then took a year off, living on his friends' couches, went bankrupt, working on the oil rig, roofing houses, read 100 books, came back into the market knowing it's about relationships over transactions. I've been selling 100 houses a year since 2014. Fast forward to me standing here with you here today. I am here for the same reason why all of you guys are here. We want to be the best we can be, and Ricky has provided a platform and been such a phenomenal resource for each and every one of us to get our dreams and our goals to the next level. So that being said, I hope you guys have had such a great time so far, but without further ado, welcome to the stage, Ricky Carruth.
How you guys doing? Hey, how about these speakers today? This was a really good event. Really good event. So I can tell you right now, guys, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good. I don't know if it's because it's 2022 or from the vitamin patches my wife's been giving me. Have you guys seen this? It's little clear stickers and it's vitamins. So on the flight up yesterday, she's giving me immunity, focus, and last night, sleep. And let me tell you something, I slept like a baby. And I woke up looking like a spotted cheetah. I was feeling good, I'm feeling great. So, listen guys, give it up for the speakers, number one. Just give it up for the speakers, number one. My wife and daughter are back here walking right through the door. See them? When they come in here, let's give it up for them. Let's get real loud when they get in here. I don't know what took them so long, but once they come in here, let's get real loud. Here we go, here we go. Hey, Keyshawn, get them, get them. Woo! Hey, that was for y'all. Now, y'all know I'm a family man. I don't go anywhere without my wife and kid. So let me tell y'all something about Colorado that y'all don't even know. Okay, you ready? It's cold up here. It's cold up here, y'all. And let me tell you how I know y'all don't know. Because last night I went to eat at Panera Bread, Panera. I put on my toboggan, I got my jacket on, I got my hood, I'm all laced up, and I'm walking around like an Eskimo. And here y'all come, locals, with no hat. Ears all exposed. Just, right? Got me looking like Kenny from South Park. I've been up here a couple of times, but it's been a couple of years. You never get used to it. Totally different ballgame. How many people's been down to the Alabama, Florida Gulf Coast? Okay. You guys know. No, it's incredible. The speakers were amazing. I would say, I've been watching the whole event, and it seems like they've given you a lot of meat and potatoes, right? Not a lot of fluff. Real detailed strategy, right? And I loved it. And I tell you, I'm impressed. And I got a lot out of it, and I got a lot of value out of it. So what I want to do, they gave you guys some strategies, some meat and potato type stuff. I want to give you guys some foundational stuff to live by. Okay? You guys ready? Who wants to 5X their business this year? Okay, everybody, I'm sure. So 5Xing your business, all right? This is my goal today, to explain to you guys exactly what you got to do to 5X your business. But the only catch is, once I tell you how to do it, I can't untell you, right? And it's going to be a lot of work, and it is painful. It's painful to go through that process, okay? Because here's the bottom line, okay? Here's the bottom line. I'm going to give you guys the meat and potato secret of 5Xing your business. You got to become a 5 times better version of yourself. Okay, now think about it. Most of the agents out there, they complain about business, but they're not doing anything to develop their self into the person who can handle more business. If I handed you 5 times more business right now, I doubt that you can actually handle it. Because what does 5 times more business mean? 5 times more problems, 5 times more stress, 5 times more effort, actions, mistakes, failures. Can you handle that? You got to know how to manage your time better. There's so many things that you have to become that better version of yourself to be able to handle 2X, 3X, 5 times more business. So I want you to understand that first, is that I can teach you all the X's and O's. I can teach you all the ABCs of real estate. But if you're not equipped and have developed yourself into the person that can handle more business, it doesn't matter. You can find the X's and O's anywhere. You can look up, there's plenty of strategy online. YouTube, Google, coaches everywhere telling you how to do it. And let me tell you something. Everything that they say works. Even the ones that didn't work for you, it still works. It just didn't work for you. It's working for somebody else. Every strategy out there works. And business is unlimited. So then it becomes a game of, I got to get my mind right to be able to handle this next phase. And so I want to ask you guys this. I'll take a couple answers. Why did we get into the business in the first place? Anyone? Go ahead. Boom. Anybody else? More time for your kid. Yeah, I like this. Right? That's why we got into the business. We got into the business because unlimited potential for income. We're our own boss. We're setting our own hours. We run our own business. Right? We deal with and have more time with the family. Enjoy life more. I would fear to say that most agents don't feel so free. Do you guys agree? We're stressed out. We're working till 9, 10, 11 o'clock. Okay, every time our phone makes a sound, we jump 3 feet in the air. We're incredibly reactive, right? And so that's one thing that I want to do here today. I want to help you take your freedom back. The reason why you came into the business in the first place, to enjoy your life more. But you're not enjoying your life more. Most agents. And even if you have reached that level where you have great time management and you understand the business more and you have some systems in place, there's still a piece of you that could get a little better. Manage time a little better, enjoy life a little more. Maybe it's the way you're conducting your business. Maybe it's the way that you're not present with your family. I don't know what it is, but we've got to identify these problems. They're problems. And we've got to go all in on fixing these problems so that we can not only sell more real estate. Here's the punchline. When we're happier, we sell more real estate. And we're enjoying the time that we have when we're not selling real estate more. This is the goal. And this is what Zero to Diamond is all about. What happened there? All right. So what business are we in really? relationships, customer service. Anybody from this region? Therapy. On which side of that? This is what I have realized the business that I'm in. And I want to share this with you so that hopefully you can realize maybe this is the business that you're in. Self-development. Self-development. Every single day you need to wake up and think about, what can I learn today? How can I become a little bit better today? What actions can I take that I can fail and learn from that mistake and get better? Who can I collaborate with to learn something that maybe I don't know that they may know? What books can I read? What podcasts can I listen to? How can I get better? Because the better you get, the more successful you're going to be. This thing is incredible right here.
Is it on now, Ricky?
Testing.
Is it on? Did you hit the button?
Hello. No, sir. Here we go. Give it up for him in the back. He's doing a heck of a job. Where was I? Developing yourself, making yourself a better version, right? Evolving. Which brings me to my next point. I want to start a movement, okay, using this word, evolution. Now let's think about evolution from my standpoint, just to share with you. Okay? I got into the business and lost everything. You guys know my story, right? And when I got back in the business, what did I have to do? I had to evolve into that next better version of myself that realized this is about people, not money. Okay? I evolved into that next better version of myself. Now let me apply this. Okay? 2014, I had reached a peak. Couldn't go any further. Why? Drugs and alcohol. So what'd I do? Quit. April Fool's Day, 2014, haven't had a drop, haven't had a drug, haven't had anything since that day, right? I evolved to get myself to the next level. 2017, I feel like I plateaued out on that next level of what I could accomplish as a local real estate agent. Let me go write a book. Let me go do videos. Let me start trying to help other agents. I'm evolving. Look at the different chapters, and each step of the way, I'm saying, how can I stretch myself more? Right? How can I stretch myself a little further? Right? Now, more recently. Does everybody understand what I'm doing now at this point? After 20 years as a single residential agent, I'm building a team to handle my residential business, becoming a team leader, and going out and starting all over again in commercial real estate. For the last month, I've been cold calling commercial owners. I'm a new agent again. They're asking me, how many commercial deals have I closed? And I'm thinking, none. How do I get around this? Same stuff you guys are going through as new agents. Why am I putting myself in that position? Because I'm going to stretch. I got to stretch. So ask yourself, when's the last time you did something for the first time? When's the last time you did something for the first time? So that's something I want you to realize, and I want to try to instill in you, is that we got to keep stretching. Don't get complacent. Don't say, oh, I'm going to make $1 million a year for the rest of my life selling real estate. It's not about the money anymore. It's about the journey of self-development, becoming the next best version of yourself, because you can do so much more. It's not about making $1 million a year. It's about how can we turn that into $10 million a year and then take 9.5 of that and go help other people and make a real difference. Stretching. Okay? The foundations of Zero to Diamond. To help yourself, to help find yourself, right? Develop yourself and find what strategies work best for you. So when you hear my story and you see what I do and you see what my favorite strategies are and how I got where I am, great. Use that as inspiration to go find your own story and to find your own strategies that work best for you. I want you guys to be yourself and scale your personality just like I have. I want everybody here to be a little Ricky, but not the way little Ricky did it. They used to call me Little Ricky on the roof because my dad was Rick and I was Little Ricky. But that day that I out-roofed him, that was a day. They didn't call me Little Ricky anymore. Let's just say that. I want you guys to understand what I'm saying and what the foundational principles are of Zero to Diamond. It's not to tell you to go cold call. Not worried about that. I want you to find your path, how you're going to build your business. Now, the mission statement, to reduce the failure rate in the real estate industry, one agent at a time. I get messages every week from agents, and this has happened for years, that tell me that they were going to quit real estate until they found Zero to Diamond. And that is everything. Everything. So we're accomplishing this mission, but we want to go harder. We want to go harder. It's not over. We're just getting started. If you guys don't understand the changes that just happened to Zero to Diamond, where it's a social media platform, we're doing free one-on-one coaching, new 60-day challenge. You can collaborate with the people there on the website. We're always going to be evolving to find that 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Our core values. Always value relationships over transactions every time. Now, I believe, right, through my research and development, that the secret to life and what makes us as humans really happy is helping other people. Deep down. I don't think it's how much money we made. What's up?
We gotta switch mics real quick.
Oh, what's...
Just a little
Sounds
buzzing,
good.
Just a little buzzing in the live stream.
Right.
Please continue.
So, what makes us really happy as humans is helping other people. Now, would you guys agree with that? It's not how much money you make. It's helping other people. That's what truly, when you make a lot of money, you feel accomplished. You feel happy with that. You know, you feel a sense of satisfaction. Everything's cool in your world. Your bills are taken care of. You can invest money. Everything's great there. But I think what really makes you happy is when you actually have helped someone and you get validation from that person that you truly helped them. That's what makes us happy. Now, we're in a world right now where the more people you help, listen to this, the more people you help, the more money you make. That's the kind of world we live in right now with all the platforms available. So understand this concept. The more people you help, the more successful you are. Okay? So, theoretically, think about this. Theoretically, if you were to focus your business around purely helping people, not money, just purely just trying to help. Okay? In theory, since you make money, the more people you help, and that's what actually makes you happy, in theory, if your business was solely focused on only helping, wouldn't that mean that you're the happiest and most wealthy at the same time? Think about that. And think about how you run your business. How can we create scenarios, right? Like this, for example. How many people here, raise a hand, if given the opportunity, would do business with me? Everyone, right? Now, raise your hand if I've ever charged you a dime for anything. Boom, nobody. Think about the power of what just happened. Helping people for free builds a scenario where you have a large business, massive business, and you're happier because you're helping others. How can you live in both? So how can you have your cake and eat it too? This is what you need to work on in your journey of self-development. It's bigger. This is much bigger than real estate. It's much bigger than us. The core philosophies of Zero to Diamond. You guys know these. Closings happen every day regardless of market conditions. Simple. When I went through the crash, that's what I learned. I looked back and I said, whammo. Closings were continuing to happen every day in a massive, massive way. So that made me realize a crash is like, I mean, honestly, a crash is just it's just a determining statistic in the market, okay? For example, we just went through for the past year and a half and are still going through right now an inventory crash. It's a crash, right? It plummeted. Inventory's zilch. That's a crash. Why aren't we scared about this crash, right? Why aren't we leaving the business here, right? Now it could be inventory, it could be demand, it could be prices, interest rates. There's a lot of variables, right? One of these things move, but why do we only call it a crash when, prices are down or transactions are down? There are other factors in the market, right? When these move, these over here are doing well. For example, prices and demand goes down. What happens then? Inventory goes up. So why aren't we happy about that? When the prices go down, we're happy about prices going up when inventory was low. It goes back to what I say. The agents that are complaining about low inventory this year are going to be the same agents that are complaining about we got too much inventory the next year. Every single day, right? Which brings me to the second core philosophy. It's unlimited. You will not ever do every deal available to you, ever. There's an unlimited amount of loyal clients that'll never, ever use another agent. Sure, you'll have your clients that wonder, but there's an unlimited amount of core clients that will never leave you for the rest of their life, refer you every single deal. The problem is you're not putting enough work to go talk to enough of the population to filter down to that core group. You stop trying to build your database. They're there. It's just painful to put in the work to find them. A lot of people don't want to go through the pain. And all that boils down to the third philosophy, which is competition doesn't exist. I'm not in competition with you. We go on a listing, there's a listing appointment, and they're interviewing me and they're interviewing you. I'm not in competition with you. I'm in competition with myself. Did I articulate who I am to this client the best way that they understand that I care about them, I'm going to work the hardest? Maybe our personalities didn't click up. That's okay. Again, unlimited. Most people sit around sulking about the deal that they lost when they should have spent that time going to get 5 more deals. That's how you multiply your business. You lose a deal, and instead of sulking, use that time you would have spent on that deal to go get 5 more deals. You turn 1 lost deal into 5 positive deals. Okay, I got some testimonials real quick. I'm going to share this with you guys, and then I'll get on to some better stuff. Okay, so there's a lady in Charlotte, Christy Iverson. She's a 10-year agent. Okay, she went from $140,000 before she found ZTD. That next 12 months, she did $700,000. LaShonda in Nashville, 10-year agent, went from $150,000 to $800,000. Joshua Klein, 5-year agent, went from $150,000 to $350,000. Hussein Isaac in California went from $30,000 to $150,000. Shane Noblin, he closed 60 deals in his first 18 months. Vicki Gorman, Scottsdale, Arizona, went from $140,000 to $650,000. Ayub Mehta in Canada, 6x his income. The list goes on and on and on and on, guys. I'm super proud, to be honest. It's taken a lot of work to get here. So I did a Zero to Diamond survey. I don't know if you guys saw it or participated in it, but I wanted to get a better idea of the impact that Zero to Diamond is actually having on the industry. Okay, so I want to share a few of those statistics with you. 67.1% of people that went through Zero to Diamond say that they picked up more listings and closed more deals. Now, let's round it up. Let's say 7 out of 10. Okay? 7 out of 10 people that go through this program are closing more deals and getting more listings. What? This is a business where 90% of agents fail, and you got only 30% of people that say they didn't close more deals, which a couple of those may already be high producers. They just took what I was doing and applied it to their business and better philosophies or something. But this is an incredible statistic to me. 86% say they have better time management. Wow! You know what that tells me? People are spending more time with their family. They're juggling their business better. They're juggling their life better, and they're enjoying their life more. 73.9% say they read more. This program is helping people develop themselves into that next best version who can handle more business. And this is the biggest one for me right here. This one was mind-blowing when I saw this. 98.7% say they enjoy being a real estate agent more. Does anybody agree with this? This is mind-blowing to me. That's the one I'm the most proud of. Because honestly, that's what I'm trying to do. It's how it puts you guys in a position where you can have an incredible business, blow it up, but also enjoy it without being stressed out. There's 3 areas of self-development. Okay? Research and development, reading, podcasts, learning, watching, coming to these events. Okay? Most people get stuck in that stage. They just read, they watch, they go to events, they go to 15 events a year, they listen to podcasts, and they never sell a single house. They know everything. They know more than we know. But they never go to step 2, experience. Once you learn it, you got to go apply it, you got to make mistakes, and you got to learn from the mistakes and get better and refine your processes and create systems. And the last stage, which is where I am, is collaboration. And I ignored this for years. Single agent, I can do anything. I'm a hard worker. I'll outwork you. Leave me alone. I don't want to learn from you. I know everything. That's how I've been my whole career. That was a big mistake. And a lot of people are like this. Don't be closed-minded like I was. I was very closed-minded to a lot of things coming up. Now, it worked out well for me because I was super focused. I didn't let a lot of shiny penny stuff get in my way. But that's okay, because now I'm in a better position to collaborate. I have way more connections, a much larger network, and so do you guys. Everyone in this room has a larger network than they had this time last year, and that time the year before, and before social media was even around. And if you don't, you can create a network like that. Collaboration. Being around other people doing bigger things. Right? I'm going to take you back to a question I already asked. When's the last time you did something for the first time? Right? Maybe you're not collaborating with big enough fish. Maybe you're a big fish in a small pond. You need to be a small fish in a big pond always, and when you become the big fish, start looking for another pond. You might need to switch rooms. Get around some higher energy. People doing bigger things. Let it rub off. Collaboration. This is an element of self-development. Read, podcast, learn, take action, make mistakes, learn, collaborate with others, learn. This is how you're going to 5X your business. Now, the one most important part, I believe, okay, when it comes to real estate success, okay, in terms of 5Xing your business, personal development, so on and so forth, is communication. How you are communicating to your clients. How you're communicating to other agents. How you communicate in general. There's 2 parts to this. The first part is how you articulate. The words that you're using, how you're using them, and what your intentions are. Now, I've seen it for a long time, and it's still very mainstream, that most programs out there, they're training you and coaching you in a way that doesn't line up with who you are as a person, let's just say. There's a huge disconnect in the mainstream world of real estate coaching in who you are as a person and how you're communicating to your clients. Would you guys agree? The way that they have you communicating is way out of your comfort zone, really awkward, high pressure, just trying to close a deal. There's a lot of great coaches out there, and there's a lot of great scripts and programs out there. I'm saying the majority. What I want to do, and what we try to do at Zero to Diamond, is teach you how to use your personality and communicate who you are, that you care about people. Because that you may be here's what happens. New agents come into the business, and their broker gives them some training. They go out there and they apply it. They don't sell anything. They think, what's wrong with me? When they're hardworking, honest, dependable, they care, they're everything somebody wants in a real estate agent. Why are they not succeeding? They're talking to a lot of people. They're working really hard, putting a lot of work in. What's the problem? It's because these scripts are not articulating any of that to the client. They're coming off as just another real estate agent trying to do a deal. And this is part of the self-development process. Learning how to communicate who we are. And the only way to do it is practice. First, you got to understand, okay, my intentions are to help people. That's the first thing you have to realize. Okay, what am I trying to do here? Help people. Is it to sell a piece of property? That's not going to end well, let's just say. You can make it like that, but that's a salesman's attitude. What happens in that situation? Well, every day they have to wake up and go sell again, sell again, sell again, sell again. There's a guy I was talking to. He's from around here. He worked his whole career, and if people weren't interested, never talked to him ever again. If he called and they had already bought something with another agent, okay, thanks, bye. And I said, if you would have actually talked to them and said, okay, well, cool, you bought from another agent? Great, congratulations. How do you like the place? Cool, well, listen, I'd like to stay in touch with you. You know, in case you want to do something down the road. You might want to sell it, upgrade, refer people, whatever. I'd like to stay in touch with you. Oh, cool, what's a good email? Blah, blah. Right? And now we're going to build our brand with these people. Right? The intentions. If it's to just sell and see you later versus let me get to know you and build my brand with you, right? That's two separate camps that we're a part of. And what we got to do is realize that there's two separate camps. There's not just this is how you sell real estate, ask people if they want to sell, and this is how it's done. No, it's deep. So we got to first realize we're here to help people. Okay, when we realize that should give us all the confidence in the world to talk to anyone. Because now we don't care what they think about us. We don't care if they think he's just trying to sell a property. Okay, well, they got the wrong impression somehow. I'm not going to win them all, but I'm going to continue doing all I can do to help people and to put positive energy out there. And so that should give you the confidence where, you know, a lot of people are scared to call. I mean, if you're scared to call, and you do care, but you're not understanding that it shouldn't matter what they think. If they come at you in a negative way, that's their problem. We're here to help. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm just calling to see what I can do to help you. I don't know what side of the bed you woke up on or, you know, what's going on in your life right now, but that's not me. I'm not part of that. I'm actually here to see what I can do to help you today, right? And use your business as an opportunity to service the community. Think of yourself as a volunteer worker doing community outreach to see what you can do to help people in your market using your services, right? You need to know about some stuff. Here's some market information. You're looking to possibly buy or sell something? Let me see what I can do to help you. Now, when they say, I want to buy or sell something, the next question is, why? If your mom said, I'm gonna sell my house today. what's the first thing you would ask them? Why, Mom? This place is amazing. I grew up here. That brings me to another good point. If your dad was going to sell something, would you take a listing presentation? Probably not. Probably not. And so I'm not saying don't use listing presentations. I'm just saying don't lean on listing presentations, right? Treat people like they're family. Think about, how would I treat this person if they were my mom or dad? Brother, cousin, best friend from high school. That's how you need to treat your prospects. And that's what tone and intentions comes back to, and learning how to communicate. You got to line up who you are on the inside and somehow articulate that in your tone and words that you're using. Whether it's voice to voice, digital, same thing. Can't hear the tone when it's digital, but words mean stuff. And the way that you come across means something. The second part of communication is building your brand. Now, brand. So many people say, I'm working on my brand. What are you doing to work on your brand? They're getting the colors just right on their logos and stuff. Like building a logo. I'm working on my brand. What? Your brand is you. It's not a color of a logo. It's who you are. See, that's what people are going to remember. They're going to remember the feeling they got when they talk to you. And they're going to you never want them to forget that feeling. So here's what you do. When you talk to thousands of people in your market, right, and you give great first impressions with those people in your market, you never want them to forget that great feeling they got. So you collect that data. What's the drug of choice of all these large corporations? Apple, Zillow, Amazon, Facebook. Data. Data. Spending billions of dollars on data. We need to run our businesses the same exact way. They're doing it digitally. They see what we're doing behaviorally online, and then they have that data. Now they can work through whatever they need to advertise to us with that data. Same thing here. We can meet people digitally and have great first impressions. That's what this is. You've had an experience with Amazon. You had a great first impression. You ordered something, and boom, it ended up on your doorstep. This is a good relationship. I like this. I push a button, and stuff ends up at my door. Great relationship. Same thing here. You want to create that great relationship where they never forget who you are. Collect the data. Remarket to them on a very frequent basis. Juan hit it out the park today, didn't he? Give it up for Juan in the back. He talked about doing a weekly email. He talked about all this stuff. It was really good. Good job. But we've got to scale our brands, right? And how we communicate through these platforms, social media, has to bleed. Our personality needs to bleed through the content. So we got to scale our personality. Go make a logo, okay? Make a logo, right? But just understand that it's not the logo. It's what's behind the logo. When they actually do business with you or talk to you, what's that experience like? And then, then they're going to recognize the logo as something of value. Until then, the logo doesn't mean anything. Until they've actually done business with you or talked to you. It all comes back to this one thing. Okay? One thing right here. Conversations. Now in real estate, okay, it's a little different than other businesses. E-commerce, you never have to talk to anybody. There's a lot of businesses you never have to talk to anybody, you never see anybody. Okay? We're in real estate. So what does that mean? Has anyone ever done a closing without actually talking to someone? I have. I've done one out of 1,000 deals. He was out of the country. We emailed back and forth, electronic signatures. I listed it. We negotiated by email. We signed it. They dealt with a title company. I never actually talked to the person. And I remember that deal because I never talked to him. It was the only deal I ever did. So I'm going to remember the deal I never talked to anybody on. But it happened one time out of 1,000. So what you got to realize is this. If you are on social and you're running your business on social, great. But just understand one thing. All your work on social needs to come right back to real conversations. Maybe we get into a digital conversation first, but if we're not talking to people, voice to voice, we're not closing any deals. And the more people that we talk to, the more deals you're going to close. It comes down to real simple stuff, right? Now, that one has been part of my repertoire for a long time. Okay? 3 systems you need for your business. Okay, so let's break this down. You got to have these 3 systems in place. Okay? So think about it. Okay? Lead gen. You got to have a system in place that's producing these one-on-one conversations. I don't care what the system is, but you got to figure out what system works best for you to create a massive amount of one-on-one conversations. Maybe you haven't found your lead gen of choice yet. Right? What I want you to do, if you haven't found out what your lead gen of choice is sit down and write down every single lead gen options that are available. Every single one of them that you can think of. I would think that there's not really many, right? When you really boil it down. What are they, 20? 25? Something like that? Then you start really scratching your head, trying to squeeze another one out. I want you to write down every single, if you haven't figured out what your lead gen system is, write them all down, and then start working through the process of trying to figure out what the top 2, and maybe a third secondary. 4 is getting a little too much, okay? 2 main ones, maybe a third or fourth, possibly. Throw everything else away and go all in right here. But you got to get these systems in place. And if you're not there yet, if you're walking around and you don't know where to get leads, how to get leads, you're trying this lead system, you're trying that lead system, you don't have this system down yet. So this needs to be step 1. How do we get this down to what works for you? I'll tell you what mine was when I was coming up. Circle prospecting, direct mail, weekly email. Well, weekly email for number 3. Circle prospecting and direct mail handwritten letters. That was me. That was it. Now, I tried it all. Expires for sale by owners, online leads. I bought Zillow leads. I did a bunch of stuff. But that was mine. Now, we're talking 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. We're in a different world now. What would I do now? What would I do now? I think I would stick with that. I would definitely do expireds. I would definitely continue direct mail, handwritten letters, right? But I would also crush social. Crush social. You got to get that system in place. The second system you need in place is, okay, when you're running through the population with your lead gen systems and you're creating all these great one-on-one conversations, some of these people are going to love you, but they want to do business later. So they're going to go into our database and go into our marketing system, right? Where they're never going to figure who we are. They'll come back to us when they get ready. But what do we do as we're running through the population, talking to a lot of people, and we run into somebody that says, oh, they're going to do something now in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. What now? How do we handle those active buyers and sellers, those hot leads? We need our system in place, a follow-up system. You need to know exactly what you're going to do when you have a hot lead. You need to have your follow-up system of choice. Coming up, again, I'll give you mine, notebook. Made a list, maintained the list, followed up according to whatever their story was, why they were buying or selling, what their motivations were, so on and so forth. Eventually, I ended up starting to use a Google Sheet. Okay? And I'll just give you the simple math. Okay? Anyone can do this. If you want to close 1 deal a week, you need 15 to 20 active buyers and sellers at all times. If you want to close 2 a week, 25 active buyers and sellers plus at all times. Real simple stuff. But you need to have your system in place of how you handle these clients. If not, we're just floating in the wind. No direction, no concrete plan, no systems in place. So we've got our lead gen systems in place. We've picked out our top 2 or 3. It's creating all these one-on-one conversations. People are loving us. They want to do business with us now or later. We're picking up some that want to do business now. We've got our process there. Now we need our third system in place, which is our marketing and our branding system, where once they talk to us, they never forget who we are. You got to figure out, again, write them all down. What are all the options? Social media, text, email, postcards, calls. However you stay in touch with people, write all those options down and figure out, okay, what's my marketing and branding method of choice? What system can I put in place to build this massive business? Mine was a weekly email, period. That's all I did. Postcards were more for lead generation. The email was what created a situation where no one ever forgot who I was. Still do it today, every Wednesday since 2007. So think about my business coming up. Circle prospecting, handwritten letters, postcards. Run into people, either put them in my database or put them on the list to work them, because they might do something soon, and do a weekly email every Wednesday, right? Now, I would consider that the definition of keep it simple. So when you're defining what your systems are, keep it down to the 3 systems I said, number 1. Don't try to do 5 systems. Keep it simple, because the more complicated you make things, the tougher it's going to be to succeed, because you got so much going on. That's why I say dwindle your lead gen down to just a couple. Keep it real simple and understand the 1% rule. Okay, when you build your database, 1% of your database is going to close deals with you each year. Okay? So, let me explain. When you get your database up to 5,000 people, right? Think about this. If you went out and you had this lead gen system in place and it helped you create conversations that led to 5 new friends a day in the market. Let's say that's your goal. 5 a day is 25 a week, 100 in a month. 1,200 in a year, 24 in 2 years, 3,600 in 3, 4,800 in 4. You see where I'm going with this. Your database continues to grow. This is organic, real numbers in the database. This isn't, I bought 1,500 Zillow leads 3 years ago and plugged them in there. These are people, property owners you talked to, built a relationship with, they gave you the email. This is real stuff. How big would your business be at that point of a 4-year period, creating 5 new friends a day, sending a weekly email every Wednesday? How big would your business be? Massive. The 1% rule means 1% of that database is going to close with you every year. So if you have 5,000, you're going to close 50 deals a year. I quit building my database when I got to 10,000 because that was the first year that I closed 100 deals, and I've closed 100 deals every year since, no prospecting. Because once you build it up to that point, and you have your marketing system in place, now it's all residual. Now the deals are residual. You guys got to understand the big picture and where you could really be in the next 3 to 5 years. If you hit this hard, put your systems in place, go out there and create 5 new friends a day, build your database, and have your marketing system in place where nobody ever forgets who you are. You could have a business where you're not prospecting anymore. Say you want to close 40 deals a year. Build it up to 4,000, call it a day. Weekly email, bam. And let me tell you something. When you're on that side of the business, these people aren't interviewing 3 agents. You're the only call they're making, and they're going to tell you what they want, and they're ready to do it right then. Much easier deals when you're on that side of it. So however hard the business is right now for you guys, if you're in that building stage, just realize there's light at the end of the tunnel. If you can visualize this and look at it over several years of where you could really be. The other part of the 1% rule is to get 1% better every day, right? So here's what I want you guys to do. Stop worrying about stuff. Worry is killing you. You're worried about inspection repair addendums. You're worried about if the deals are going to close. You're worried if you're going to get a deal, right? You're worried. And it's doing nothing but holding you back because you can only handle so much. And so what I want to do today, write this one down, right? I want you to increase your mental capacity, because mental capacity means everything. If business is unlimited and closings happen every day and there's an unlimited amount of loyal clients out there for each and every single agent, then what's stopping us from doing 1,000 deals a year? It's because we can't handle 1,000 deals a year. And so I can handle 100 deals a year on my own. You know, you can probably handle 200, you can handle 40, you can handle 30, you can handle 300. We all have different size capacities. And what I want you to do is understand that you weren't born with a specific level of capacity. You were born with it, but you can increase it by removing things in your head that's holding you back. Worrying about stuff is the biggest one. If you can let go of a lot of this stuff that doesn't matter, 90% of the stuff that you worry about never happens. And the 10% that does, you can deal with it when it happens. So that means worry about 100% of nothing. As far as the daily schedule goes, I want you guys to read. I want you to sit down and write down everything going on in your business every day. Schedule your day before it starts happening. And I want you to make calls all morning and work your marketing all afternoon. Simple. The calls don't have to be cold calls. Get all your leads on Facebook. But you better be calling somebody. Get Zillow leads. I don't care. You better be calling them. And you better have whatever the lead gen system you have, better produce enough numbers for you to stay on the phone from 9 to 12 every day. Or you're not going to reach the business, the levels of business that you want. Please, guys. And the most important thing I want you to do is time block for yourself and your family. I get up in the morning really early, I go work out. I'm able to really think. That's my time to think about stuff. At 5 o'clock, I shut it down. That's family time. If I didn't get it done between 7 and 5, I'm not going to get it done. Henry Ford did a study in his factory a long time ago. He gave his factory 60 hours a week to complete a task, okay? They got it done. He did that for several weeks. He came back and gave them 40 hours to complete the same task that it took them 60 hours to complete. Guess what? They got it done. So think about if you're giving yourself permission to work till 10 o'clock at night, you're going to work at a much slower pace because you know you got time. But if you say, I'm going to knock off at 5 o'clock, then you better believe your mind's going to be in hyper-fast production mode, trying to get everything done that you got to get done before 5 o'clock. And guess what? You're going to produce more. And then you're going to have that time with your family on top of producing more. Take your life back. The new features already talked about at Zero to Diamond. It's a social media platform. When you go there, it looks like Facebook. There's a wall, there's members, you can post, you can like, you can comment, you can DM people, you can create groups. There's like 40 or 50 groups on there right now, different people to collaborate with. There's a new 60-day challenge, and we are doing free one-on-one coaching now, where we call you once a week for 30 minutes, right? It is limited. We started every quarter, so we're going through our first round right now. We started January 1st, and nothing but incredible reviews. So we're going to start another round April 1st. We'll do it every quarter, right? We're doing 110 agents right now. There was about 400 that applied, so it is limited because we only have so many certified coaches, but I plan on certifying more coaches so that we can just continue to provide more and more value to the industry and try to really spread and take all this to the next level. Okay, so that's at zerotodiamond.com. I don't know if you guys are part of my text community, but if you're not, text me at this number. And I give away books. I'm going to give away tons of signed books over the next couple days. 251-312-8844. And just to end things off, let's go right back to the 5Xing your business. You got to 5X yourself. And I would say, okay, I'm just going to assume this, just based on the way you guys are paying attention and engaged with this, that each and every one of you are great agents, right? So what does great agent mean? What's the definition of great agent? To me, it means that you answer your phone, that you're dependable, right? Maybe some of you don't answer your phone. But you work hard, you're honest, right? You want the best for people. That's my definition of a great agent. Even if, say, you haven't sold anything ever, I would still feel comfortable letting you handle my transaction here in Denver, right? Because I know that you're a great agent, that you're going to answer your phone, that if you don't know the answer, you're going to go find it for me. You're going to go over the top to give me a great experience, right? So we're all great agents. Is anybody not a great agent? Okay, we're great agents. But what I want is I want you guys to be great agents who also sell a lot of real estate, right? There's a difference. You can be a great agent and sell nothing. But I want you to be a great agent and sell a lot of real estate. And thank you.